Back here again at the United Center for Big Ten men's basketball quarterfinal play. Ohio State going up against Michigan State. Hi everybody, if you could see us. We are here, like we said, United Center, Chicago, Illinois, on SGSR TV. Austin Crume, Sara Sharp, Caleb Spinner, the Spin Doctor. And we gotta say, we are kind of sad. Tyler Danberg can't be here with us. Had a midterm back on campus, you know, student first, broadcaster second. This is the Tyler Danberg call. This is what we're calling it for this one, but we wish he was here. The three-man was definitely fun, though.
The three-man was fun.
Yeah, I mean, all you can ask for that, two incredible games, the three of us here, but third game, this is going to be some high-leverage stuff here. Ohio State 0-2 against Michigan State in this season so far, a loss at home and on the road. And can you tell us a little bit about those losses, Sarah?
Well, obviously, Ohio State 0-2 against Michigan State so far this season. Michigan State beat Ohio State at their home turf, 84-78, and then also in Columbus, 62-41 in the Schottenstein Center, Ohio State's home court as well. So some decent wins by Michigan State so far this season, and one of the biggest things we have to keep in mind for today, which is going to be a huge difference from those two games in the regular season, is the loss of Bryce Sensabaugh for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, just about an hour or so ago, Ohio State and John Rothstein, a college basketball specialist on Twitter, had put out that Bryce Sensabaugh is going to be missing this game with some knee discomfort. So not super sure what's going on. The media and the team itself won't clearly give specification, as rightfully so, never want that to come out. But Ohio State is going to be losing their #1 scorer in arguably the biggest game of their season so far, and a game that they need to win to now face Purdue in the semifinal round after Purdue had just beaten #9 Rutgers 70-65 in another nail-biter here in the United Center.
And Bryce Sensabaugh had 16 points, 4 rebounds last night, and the night before had 9 points, 11 rebounds. So a higher scoring game for him yesterday, and then very significant rebounding game for him 2 nights ago against Wisconsin. So going to be missing him not only on the scoreboard, but also on the boards as well.
And one guy that Ohio State is going to need to step up at this point is a grad student, Sean McNeil. We know he's done very, very well so far off the bench in the past 2 games, going over double digits, and his corner 3 shot, when he can get it, is perfect. He's been a little bit iffy when it comes to personal fouls late in games, going for rebounds. But as of yesterday, he now is averaging 10 points to the tee, and he's one of those guys that might have to get 35 minutes in this game and see if he can fill in those numbers with Sensabaugh not being able to play.
And then not only Sean McNeil on the scoring area, but Justice Suing as well, who we have seen has the ability to rebound. Multiple games where he's had 9 double-digit rebounds as well. So we're going to need some, or Ohio State's going to need some help from players like Sean McNeil on the scoring areas, but also they're going to need to be able to rebound as well against this Michigan State team without Sensabaugh here to rebound.
Luckily for them, Roddy Gale Jr. definitely stepped into his own last night. 9 points with 7 of them coming in that late second half. A very clutch 3 and steal a couple of times late to be able to get Ohio State to beat Iowa to move on to today's game. He's one of those guys that only averages 3.8 points a game, only being a freshman, the Niagara Falls guard. But he's going to have to step it up, and he's looked very good on defense, as the Ohio State team has. Went over 5 steals a game, which is normally around their average, which is good for them, but definitely a couple of chances where they were going after steals and giving up some open baskets. The easiest one I remember is Chris Murray's 3-pointer, and Bryce Sensabaugh just standing there watching it and letting it happen.
Exactly, and defense is going to be huge for Ohio State. We know in their game against Michigan State in Michigan, they allowed Michigan State to score 84 points, which is a high-scoring game. So going to need to come out here, play better defense against MSU, but also on the same area. Defense is going to be strong, but going to need to see some offensive plays from players like Roddy Gale Jr. with his 9 points yesterday, or Sean McNeil, as well as Bruce Thornton, who had 17 points last night, and Justice Suing with 14.
MSU is one of those schools that is not necessarily known for their 3-point shooting, but you can't count them out. Shooting 40% in the regular season, clearly their first game so far in this tournament at this point. But I would not be surprised to see them go out and actually attempt less threes than they normally would. Ohio State's perimeter defense yesterday was something that was unmatched any time in the season. Normally a team that allows upwards of 7 3-pointers a game locked down Chris Murray and the rest of the shooters of the Hawkeyes, and it looked good. But do you think a switch on defense this late in the tournament is going to cause some damage, especially with Sensabaugh, a guy who is doing very well on the rebound side.
Switch on defense, you mean like switching on the outside for three-point shooting?
Switching on the outside, yes.
It depends. With Iowa yesterday, it was a rare showing for the Hawkeyes because they usually are such a high-scoring and a strong three-point shooting team, but they were a little bit dry last night. Ohio State did a good job guarding them, but they also just weren't shooting well from the three-point line in general, regardless of the defense on them. With Michigan State, maybe not as strong of a three-point scoring team as Iowa, so the possibility of maybe you can give up that three-point shot and guard more in the center, but with not as strong of a three-point team, you could put a switch on them and switch a three-point shot because test it out a little bit, test the water, see how it works, and if it doesn't work, adjust and take away the switch. Yeah,
being able to adjust is one of those things in basketball that you have to just be super key on because one wrong switch and a team can find their momentum that they want. Ohio State, we saw them switch their defense from the first game against Wisconsin. They were playing more man-to-man, and then a game against Iowa playing more of a zone, realizing they were a shooting team. But Iowa also switched it up and started driving inside. A game like this against Sparty, you don't really know what Ohio State can really bring to the table defensively. So you just kind of have to hope that whatever they throw out on their first go-around, it's honestly a throw it and hope it lands kind of a situation. If you run man and they start blowing by you and get into the paint, you switch to zone. If you start going to zone and they start shooting threes, you really don't have much of an option at that point. Ohio State's defense definitely going to be a main situation factor in this one, but also offense lost a Sensabaugh. We can't talk about it enough. You're going to need a guy like Sewing and McNeil, the veterans, to step up and score points quick.
They are, and again, like you said, it's just a guessing game. You can start out and give out the three-pointer and see how it works. It's all about just adjusting in the game. On the other end, too, like you mentioned before, this is Michigan State's first game so far in the tournament. Ohio State has had the opportunity to play 2 games the past 2 nights. Michigan State coming in here a little bit cold. How do you think that's going to affect their play today?
Luckily for them, if you look at the way they've played, especially against Ohio State in this season, they've just looked dominantly better, like miles apart at this point. They have to be feeling some sort of a stress off of their shoulders, knowing that whatever film that they watched just a week ago is almost the same film they may have to watch today or the days prior. Watching Ohio State play, see how they played a few games ago, they weren't playing with the same intensity, and it was shown just based on how the Buckeyes were moving the ball and how their defensive switches were going. But with how they've been playing way faster and way hard-nosed on defense, Michigan State may also have to change the way they play, like we saw Iowa do yesterday, but going to be a fireball showing in this one as we have just about a minute left. No set-in-stone lineups, the starting 5 at this point. We can give you our best guess at this, and we will rearrange and readjust as it goes. For Ohio State, we are going to go with Roddy Gale, Bruce Thornton. I'd say Sean McNeil slide in for Sensabaugh. Then I'd assume Sewing, and then at the 5, Felix Okpara. And my best guess for Sparty in what they've run at MSU, you got Tyson Walker at the 1, number 2. You got Jaden Akins, number 3, at the 2 guard. You got Joey Hauser, number 10, at the 3. AJ Hogard, the forward at the 4. And Maudie Sissoko, the defensive anchor 5 going in. And ironically, seems like we may be actually getting the official starters in just a second, but only around 30 seconds to go. This is a must-win game for either team. But Ohio State, now knowing you have to play Purdue, there's got to be some jitters there with that one.
Absolutely, but also there has to be a little bit of confidence as well. I mean, one game at a time is the way to think of it. They have to beat Michigan State to make it to Purdue, but Rutgers only lost to Purdue by 5 points, so it was a close game, and we know Ohio State as well at the beginning of the season gave it a run for their money, only lost by 2 points against Purdue in their first game against Purdue this season. So one game at a time, but a little bit of confidence coming in. You definitely need that confidence boost. And Bruce Thornton, interviewed yesterday by the Big Ten Network, had a line, something along the lines of, we want to show the Big Ten that we can still play and that we're still here. We don't care how late in the season it is. You can turn it on at any moment, and this is the moment for them to turn it on. And just to kind of solidify the starting 5, it will be Roddy Gale Jr. at the 1 for Ohio State. Bruce Thornton at the 1, Roddy Gale at the 2, Sean McNeil at the 3, Justice Sewing the 4, and Felix Okpara at the 5. And then for Michigan State, you got Tyson Walker at the 1, Jaden Akins the 2, AJ Hogard the 3, Joey Hauser the 4, and Maudie Sissoko still at the 5. So we hit that one perfectly.
I'm a betting man, and I definitely would have gone for that one. I'm sorry that you heard me say I'm a betting man, Mom. I really am not. But this is going to be a good one. Definitely kind of high-flying in a situation like this. Maudie Sissoko, a guy that you look at, he's not going to give you the most in points, only around 5 a game, but he definitely will give you a run for your money when it comes to rebounds. Sitting at 6.2. How is Okpara going to feel going up against a guy who's so hard-nosed in the paint?
Well, not only just him having to go up against somebody so hard in the paint, but it's the expectation now of losing Bryce Sensabaugh, who's been a strong rebounder for Ohio State. Not only is Okpara thinking about somebody who averages 6.2 rebounds a game and fighting against him, but he has to step up for his team in general because of the loss of the ability of Bryce Sensabaugh to rebound. So going to have to be a big game for Felix Okpara, and as we talked about the last few days, doesn't really cover your stat sheet very much, not very many points, but hoping to see more rebounds by him tonight.
This is one of those games that Okpara really needs to step up, especially if he plays well against Sissoko. You know you're going against a potential #1 overall draft pick tomorrow with Purdue. 7'4" Zach Edey, a guy who is just unstoppable, averages 21 points a game and 12 rebounds while shooting 61% from the field. It's something like that you just can't take away. And he's 5 inches taller than Felix Okpara, which we saw Rutgers just the game before. Their center as well, 6'11", and was just getting abused by Edey in the paint. It's something that you can't really stop. He's a freak of nature.
And it's hard because Edey has the ability, even when he's being double teamed, because if you're a team and you're going to go out and you're going to guard against Purdue, you're going to double team down on Zach Edey when he gets the ball, and he still has the ability to shoot over with a long wingspan with his height, and he has such a good shot from down low. But again, Okpara did a solid job on Stephen Crowell the other day against Wisconsin, so a possibility of getting to play against Purdue as well. But again, one game at a time as they play against Michigan State here. Okpara,
something to just kind of throw out there, if Ohio State happens to win, played very well in their matchup where Purdue only won 65-63. And that was really Okpara's first situation of playing an absolute top 5 big man. But like we said, that's for tomorrow, as this game is about to start off. Okpara going up against Sissoko in the middle circle for the tip in the see-through Big Ten men's tournament logo. I'm a fan of it, to be completely honest with you.
It's simple, but it's nice. I like it.
Caleb, what do you think about it? Get you in here quick. What do you think about the logo?
You know what? I think you guys are asking me about the logo. I can't always hear you. I like it. I think it's fresh. I think it's great.
I'm glad to hear it, and let's do it here at the United Center. Michigan State moving the ball. As you now have Joey Hauser running it. Switches to his right to Hogard. Hogard driving inside. Gale Jr. great on him. You now have the ball to Tyson Walker at the right wing. Calls for a screen by Sissoko. Passes to his left to Jaden Akins. Got McNeil on him. Back to Walker. Fake heat check. Got 2 men on him. Double teamed. Finds a man open in the corner. That is Hauser. His shot is blocked by Gale Jr. and the defense by Ohio State at the beginning is looking sharp.
Roddy Gale Jr. bailed Justice Suing out on that one. Suing went up to jump and jumped on the ball fake, so he would have been wide open if Roddy Gale Jr. hadn't gotten that block.
He got it, and actually right off the hands of Hauser, so Ohio State will retain it as you have Justice Suing moving the ball up to the court at the moment. Suing taking a few steps, hits the ball to Thornton, kind of dribbles around, back to Suing though. Thornton now with the ball, left wing, calls for screen by Okpara, runs to his right, hits the ball to Gale Jr. inside right baseline, passes away, and then is stolen by Sparty. Michigan State moving the ball up now in the lane, layup, and a foul call on Ohio State as they went up for that one, and it looked like A.J. Hogard goes for that, and luckily there was a shot at an N1, but Okpara gets his hand on it.
And Roddy Gale Jr. on the last play for Ohio State elected to pass the ball when I feel like he could have done a reverse layup or something and shot it instead.
Exactly. Hauser now passes to Hogard, set in the middle of the way. Hits it to Akins, who's at the right wing, dribbling around. Hits it to Walker. One-on-one isolation against Thornton. Now double teamed again by Okpara and Thornton. Passes inside to Sissoko. Posted up. 5 on the shot clock. Shot from the left wing. No good. Rebound Ohio State.
And there's Okpara with his first rebound of the night, so starting off strong.
Bruce Thornton slowing the ball down a minute and 30 or so here in this one. Still 0-0 on SGSR TV. As Ohio State and McNeil now on the right wing. Passes inside to Suing near the right baseline on the right block. Drives inside with the left. Post fade away. and it goes in. The first points of this one, it is 2-0 Ohio State.
Nice drive by Sewing to get the first 2 points for Ohio State.
Michigan State moving it as Sewing gets his hand on the ball away from Hauser. And Sewing is kind of adamant on this one, saying it went off Hauser, but Michigan State will keep retaining it.
The Buckeyes not happy with that call. Sewing thought that it went off of Hauser instead of his hand on that defensive play.
Hogard now isolating, but passes to his left is Tyson Walker. Back to Sissoko at the 3. No man on him, though. Back to Walker. Right wing elbow jumper. Got it. And it is now a tie, 2-2. Just under 18 to go here at the United Center. Bruce Thornton now dribbling the ball up, getting his mosey on down to the half-court mark here. Calling for an ISO, but a screen as well from Sewing. Surveying the court, being double-teamed at this point, looking for an open man. Runs to the left block, back to Sewing, up at the top. Looking for any shot. He's got about 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Drives inside with his right. Defense great. Thornton, top of the key. 3, bounces out. And it is a rebound by Jaden Akins.
Nice shot there by Bruce Thornton, especially with how well he's been able to score. So just wasn't able to get that one in, but good shot.
A.J. Hogard passes inside to Sissoko. No good looks. Ohio State's defense looking good, but a left fadeaway hook. And Sissoko has a good one. 4-2. Michigan State leads with just about 17 to go.
Ohio State, good defense so far, but they're jumping a little bit too soon on some of those shots.
Sean McNeil now moving the ball slow, hits it over to Sewing. To Akpara at the top of the key, not a three-point shooter, but spacing the floor, takes it to his right, looking for somebody, hits Sewing right block. Jab steps, drives to his left, jumper, off the iron, and rebounded by Michigan State. And that is Hogard moving it quick. Passes top of the key, three-pointer, and they got it. That's a Joey Hauser 3-ball, his bread and butter. 7-2 Michigan State leads.
Michigan State starting to have a bit of a run here, especially with that three-pointer.
7-0 run over the last minute and 22 for Michigan State. Ohio State's going to need this guy, Bruce Thornton, who's moving the ball at this point, to step up. We know how well he's been the past 6 games or so. Akpara now calling it ISO, kind of bumps into McNeil, but gets the ball to McNeil regardless. McNeil inside, back out though to Akpara. To the right to Sewing, looking for a shot, three-pointer, it goes, and it's in. And it is 7-5 Michigan State. Good three-pointer by Justice Sewing.
Justice Sewing is hot right now, but Michigan State defense has been solid, pushing Ohio State outside, not allowing them inside shots.
A.J. Hogard is kind of getting harassed on defense by Gale, so he's got to pass it to Sissoko at the top. Back to Tyson Walker, right elbow jumper, nothing but net on that one. 9-5 Michigan State with about 15 and a half to go.
That elbow jumper has been like smooth as butter for Walker so far in this game.
One of his signature shots here, kind of the Chris Paul elbow jumper you see a lot in the NBA at this point. As Thornton now looking for an open shot, has the mismatch on him. A contested kind of a shot, but gets his own rebound off the left iron and resets with 20 on the shot clock, drives inside, right hand layup, and he's got it. 9-7, Michigan State leads, and they're running the ball quick. Paint already on the other side, and the ball is off the hands of Sewing, and Michigan State will keep it. And there will be a timeout on the floor. Been a crazy 4.5 minutes or so, and I think, Caleb, is it trivia time?
I think it is, but I'm a little biased.
Time.
I always think it's trivia time.
Let's do some trivia time.
Okay, here you go.
Okay.
In 1979, because I mentioned him on the scoreboard when they put him up there. In 1979, what team and player, I'll add, did Magic Johnson and Michigan State beat for the national championship?
Oh, you don't. I know this one.
Looking for a player and a team.
Do you know this one, Sarah?
No, I don't. You tell him.
Indiana State, Larry Bird.
Yes. Indiana State, Larry Bird. Yes, you get the point there. If you want, I could go with another one here, too.
Why not?
This one might be a bit harder.
Okay.
Where did Tom Izzo coach before Michigan State?
Oh, my goodness. And Izzo, for those of you who do not know, what's it, his 28th season at the helm so far?
Right about, yeah.
Okay, so before
Don't quote me on that, but it's certainly been a while.
Before all of our lifetimes here.
Yeah. Outdated for me.
What kind of conference is my question? Is it a Power 5? Is it a mid-major?
I don't think it's Power 5, although I'll admit conferences are my worst subject.
Ooh, yeah. I feel like it's got to be like, I don't know.
It's one you probably won't think of.
I'm going to go like...
Think Southwest.
FAU?
No. Southwest, not Southeast.
Southwest, my bad.
The airline where our friend Tyler Danberg flew home on last night. Southwest.
Southwest, really?
Think Southwest.
Oh, goodness. I honestly...
That's like so broad.
Yeah,
There's
it is
so
really
many,
broad.
So many places to choose from.
What state?
Well, that's going to give it away.
Will it?
Yeah.
Can you give us 3 states and we'll choose? I don't know if you're a geography guy, so we're going to have to figure this out.
Arizona.
Okay. What, Arizona, New Mexico?
New Mexico.
Is it?
Nevada.
Oh, goodness. No, I'm honestly out of guesses. I don't know. What do you think,
Sarah, you got anything?
I don't know.
What is it?
University of New Mexico.
Ah!
You know, I almost was like, maybe I'll just say
The
New
Lobos?
Mexico.
It was a Lobo.
Ah.
All right,
I
back
wouldn't-
to you guys.
I would have not gotten that.
I was about to just say, just do one of the state colleges.
Just
and
go for
then
one
go
of them.
for a university.
I was going
but
to honestly go for Northern Arizona, but I honestly wasn't a bit too sure on that one. I know NAU really isn't known for being a basketball school. Beautiful campus, though. I drove through it on my way to ASU last year, and it's nice.
Yeah.
It's not normal seeing greenery, though, in Arizona, especially on your way to Phoenix. Valley of the Sun. Michigan State inbounds the ball now. Joey Hauser back out to Tyson Walker as he's at half court and calls for a screen by the recent check-in Jackson Kohler, the American Fork, Utah product. As Michigan State now inside to Kohler as well. After setting around, Kohler posted up Akpara and blocked by Sewing, but it is out on Ohio State, and Sewing last touched it.
Ohio State having a solid defensive game, especially with blocks. They've had a couple of those already.
Trey Holloman also checks in at the 3 for Michigan State here. Already getting some moves and see what they can get as Tyson Walker is in the left corner, goes for a 3 in the face of McNeil and clanks off, and McNeil gets the rebound.
Great box out by Sean McNeil on that three-point shot.
We have Bruce Thornton moving the ball still. We know what you got to expect from him. Hopefully double digits if Ohio State wants to win this one. Still close, 9-7. Michigan State leads with just about 13 and a half to go. Bruce Thornton looking for an open, drives to his left, Sewing, three-pointer, he got it, his second of this one, and it is 10-9 Ohio State.
And we said that one of the players who was going to have to step up without sensible was Sewing, and so far he's done that.
Malik Hall also a recent check-in, just handling the ball, giving it back to Jackson Kohler, top of the key. He hands it to Trey Holloman, he drives inside looking for somebody. Back out to Tyson Walker, who throws it over to Kohler on the right block, posting up Sewing, going for a shot, no good, and it will be a called foul on Sewing and Ohio State.
I think Sewing a little bit frustrated with that call, but he didn't have both hands up. One was a little bit down, and when that happens, he's got that arm on him, and they're going to call that most of the time. They're
actually going to call it on Roddy Gale Jr. Sewing's hands were up, but Gale Jr. was going in for the steal and just kind of smacked the right forearm. So Kohler will shoot 2 here on this one. He clanks in the first one, looking pretty good for him. Not necessarily a guy you're expecting to shoot free throws, only shot 8 in the regular season and made 2 of them, so a 25% free throw shooter. So you want him to get off the line and honestly not get to it if you had a shot.
These are the first free throws of the entire game, which go to Michigan State.
We saw that similar yesterday where Iowa shot the first free throws. Ohio State didn't really have any chances to do so until the second as he sinks them both. Not looking like a 25% shooter from the free throw line, but these games are different.
Maybe he's worked on it a little bit.
Hey, you never know. He is one of the products that Tom Izzo likes to reiterate as Zach Randolph. He's an inside post guy, and Sparties love those kind of guys, the grit and grind guys there in East Lansing. Justice Sewing now with the ball right side as there's a recent check-in. Eugene Brown and Ice Likely, both of them kind of playing the 1-2 as Thornton now holds the ball inside to Brown, and it is stripped away by Michigan State, and they're moving the ball, and it is now right side. Tyson Walker again throws the other side of the court to Pierre Brooks the second, drives inside with the right, floats it up and misses, and there's a rebound scramble here, but regained by Ohio State, and Likely moving quick, looking for any open shot. He's in the post now on Pierre Brooks, finds out to Thornton, swings it left, Sewing, jab, fake, behind the back. Now in the post, left block, going for a shot, fader, no good, and it is a rebound Michigan State. Moving the ball quick again, corner 3, Tyson Walker fakes it, back up to Trey Holloman, drives inside on Sean McNeil, looking for a shot, so resets it and gives the ball to Walker. That was a quick move here, just about 13 to go though. Walker now calling for a screen by Kohler. She drives inside, looks for a potential pick and pop, can't find it, finds Hall, right side three, no good, clanks off, rebound by Thornton.
Struggling to shoot here for both teams right now as nothing's falling.
Thornton drives inside, contested layup with the right, and it goes in. 12-11 Ohio State with 12:40 remaining. And Michigan State moving the ball quickly again. They're moving this ball quick. They don't want to spend any time in the backcourt.
They are, and Thornton proved me wrong on the scoring drought there. He now has 4 points for the Buckeyes.
Looks good for him so far as Malik Hall is kind of moving the ball. One of those guys who you know as well, averages 9.5 a game in the regular season. He passes it off to Walker, top of the key, straight up, hits it to his left. Shot three, no good there for Trey Holloman, and the ball is out. It looks like both teams are kind of arguing over who last touched it. It looks like it will be off the hands of Hall, and Michigan State will not get this one.
Yeah, that was a tough one there. Looks like Ice likely might have touched it last, and Michigan State not happy with the call, but the refs are going to give it to the Buckeyes.
No, and for the first time so far in these games, Tanner Holden will check in for Justice Suing, a guy that we haven't seen much of, but the 6'6" senior. You expect him to have some good defensive possessioning on this one, which is exactly why he's coming in, especially down a man like Bryce Sensabaugh.
That's one of the things I was thinking about, is if somebody else was going to make an appearance without Bryce Sensabaugh to give another man rotating.
That's all you can ask for. There is a potential shot by Thornton, but blocked. But McNeil gets the rebound behind him, resets the shot clock. McNeil, three in the mouth. Bang, bang. He's got that. 15-11 Ohio State with just under 12 remaining.
And Sean McNeil, we said he had to score tonight. That is exactly what he needs to do. Go out, shoot where you're strongest at the three-point line.
That's all you can ask for. Is Jaden Akins now with the ball on the left side. Drives in, left-handed layup in the black ink gallery, and rebound by Sissoko. Up and one. Michigan State getting points back and fighting. It is 15-13 with a free one to Sissoko.
And you said Sissoko was going to come out here and he was going to be tough down low, get the rebounds. He averages 6.2, and there was no answer for him on that play.
And that's all you can ask for, as there will be a timeout on the floor in this one. We are actually going to step away for just about a minute or two. We thank you guys so far for listening in this one. It's still early, 15-13 Ohio State on SGSR TV.
Barrio Tacos is now open right in the heart of the Ohio State campus at 15th and High. Serving tacos and margaritas late night each night, Barrio has an incredible happy hour with half-off margs and $1 off tacos weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Don't forget, Barrio accepts Buck ID and is offering to-go and DoorDash. You can also catch Barrio Tacos inside the shoe during game days at Section 10A and at their taco truck Mondays to Fridays, parked right outside the RPAC.
Tune into the Block O Show, presented by Barrio Tacos, for an inside look at the 2022-23 Ohio State football season. Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio team of football broadcasters previews each week of the Buckeyes football season, featuring opposing reporters from student journalists across the country. Listen to the Block O Show, presented by Barrio Tacos, every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hi, this is Caleb Spinner.
And this is Tyler Danberg.
Together, we co-host the Ohio State of Mind, Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's podcast covering all things Ohio State athletics. Join us Mondays and Fridays as we recap and preview every Ohio State sporting event from the past week.
We also talk to current and former Buckeye athletes in our interview series Behind the Buckeye. Follow the Ohio State of Mind on Twitter at State of Mind OSU for more information on the show.
We hope to see you there, but for now, that's the ad. We're out of here.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Zachary Rodier here, the podcast coordinator for Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Here to tell you that if you want to listen to post-game coverage of your favorite Ohio State athletics, make sure you subscribe and listen to SGSR Recap, where post-game coverage of all the big games, including football, big hockey, basketball, and everything around, will be on SGSR Recap in case you miss post-game live on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. So make sure you listen to SGSR Recap on your favorite listening platform on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hey Buckeye fans, this is Patrick Engels, president of the Sports and Society Initiative Student Club. Are you interested in pursuing a career in sports and hearing from professionals who work in the sports industry? If so, then come find us in room 274 of the Journalism Building for SSI's bi-weekly meetings. Join us every other Monday at 7:30 p.m. to hear from qualified guest speakers who work in sports throughout Columbus, Ohio, and beyond. For questions regarding our club, please contact myself, our treasurer Jacob Benj, or our advisor Dr. Nicole Kraft. Go Bucks!
This is Matt Goldman, Vice President of SGSR, and you're listening to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, the official student radio network of Ohio State Athletics.
Coming soon to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, Season 2 of the...
Back at it again at the United Center. Hello, everybody. SGSR TV and SGSR Radio. You can't see us if you are on the radio. We are. Sorry about that. Austin Crume, Sara Sharp, Caleb Spinner to my left, as Maury Sissoko and Michigan State now finally getting his 1 of 1 and 1 free throw here.
He is, and we talked about a little bit before how strong he is in his opportunity. Not quite makes that one, so didn't get the three-point play.
Yeah, bounced around a little bit. Looked like it may have gotten a shooter's touch, but a bit too much in that one as Sean McNeil now throws the ball to Eugene Brown III as he drives inside. 2 men on a McNeil, right corner now, looking. Jab, inside baseline, contested layup, off the rim, but slapped out of bounds by Eugene Brown as he went for the rebound, and Michigan State will retain it.
Sean McNeil had a crazy shot there, and I think he was expecting a foul to be called on the shot, but he didn't get one.
The way he jumped into the defender looked like he definitely was, but close but no cigar is a pretty good saying on that, as Jaden Akins now passes the ball behind him to A.J. Hogard. Hogard to Sissoko, top of the key. We've seen that a bunch of times now. Drive inside by Hogard. Layup, no good, but there will be a foul call on Ohio State. That is another foul for them, and that's not a good look, as Michigan State has no team fouls so far.
And Sissoko again in the middle of that one with just absolute hustle down low that Ohio State's not able to compete with, because right now he's just beating him up on the boards.
That'll be a foul on Eugene Brown, the team's 4th and his 1st, as he will check out here. And Tanner Holden will come back in, actually, as Malik Hall now on Tanner Holden, drives inside with the right to the baseline, goes up for it, no good, rebound by Holden.
Good defense and a rebound by Holden in his first appearance.
Ice likely drives inside, no one on him, but blocked from behind by Hall. That's the way to get back on it after missing a shot, but it looks like they may call a foul on it, actually, so not all ball.
Ice likely, that was a good move, not one that you see very often from him. It does look like Malik Hall got a little bit of his arm on that shot.
Justice Suing now checking in for Bruce Thornton. Got to give Bruce Thornton a breather. Only 4 points, though, so far. But that's actually not so bad with the guy who's going for double digits. He's still got 10:37 left in the first one here. Holden now with the ball at the center of the court. Gives it to Ice likely to his left. The former Cowboy hits it to Akpara, also top of the key. Not known for shooting his threes. Back to Holden, top of the key, moving the ball around. Suing, left side, jabs, drive in at the Big Ten logo. Looking for a pump fake, spins, left side, and blocked again, but off the hands of Sissoko. So Ohio State will retain it. But Michigan State's defense looking good. And no, they say it hit off the hands of Suing, actually, or off of his leg. And Michigan State has it for their side.
Nice move by Suing there. He has a lot of footwork that's solid, just forcing the shot a little bit.
So Walker now with the ball, hits it off to his right to Hogard. Hogard calls for a screen again. Left corner three, potential heat check, but no for Hauser as he passes it back to Hogard at the top of the key, gets around the Ohio State defense, and no good as he went for a right side shot and rebounded by Suing.
Got open and a nice shot by Hogard, just too far off the back of the, or too strong off the back of the glass.
Likely went inside for a dribble drive potential layup and gets a foul call on him on Maury Sissoko, so that he'll be his first and the team's first in this one, actually, through about 10 minutes.
Ice Likely's been driving inside and looking for those shots for the Buckeyes today, which we're going to need to see from him and for Ohio State with Sensabaugh out.
Definitely. On the field goal side, Ohio State is 0 of their last 4 and on a scoring drought of 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And Sparty is 1 of 11, so neither side shooting the greatest. Sean McNeil now being doubled, looks for a shot, hits to Akpara on the right block. Fader, right armed, bounces around and goes down. 17-13, good post fade by Felix Akpara.
Nice post move by Akpara, not something you see very often from him, but 2 points fairly early.
You now have Joey Hauser passing the ball to his left to Akins, looking for an isolation on Sean McNeil, drives inside with the right, off the glass, and in. Maury Sissoko had a weird landing on that one after almost jumping over Ice Likely, but the point will count but the referee may want to look at that one.
He still has Ohio State taking the ball out. Ice Likely passing into Justice Suing here, back to Likely.
Yeah, not really too sure what happened. Looked like the ref, I guess, wanted to just give a little bit of a breather here, as Likely now on the left block, posting up and passing out, and it will be a foul call on Michigan State and on Tyson Walker. So Ohio State just getting some breather minutes, just under 9 minutes here to go, 17-15. Ohio State still leads it, but this has been a fast 10 minutes or so. A lot of back and forth on defense.
It has been, and just a couple minutes ago we were talking about how Michigan State hadn't had any fouls so far, and now they have 2, so itching closer to Ohio State's 4.
Ice Likely throws the ball all the way to the backcourt as Tanner Holden gets it just to reset, and Ice Likely goes from baseline to center court and has the ball in his hands now, being double teamed left side, drives in with a right, goes up, contested, passes out to the corner, Holden, his 3, bingo, he's got that. That's a great shot for Holden. It is 20-15, and there looks like there might be a call on that one, maybe against Ohio State.
Wow, that pass by Isaac Likely was insane. He goes up, looks for the shot, and sees his teammate Tanner Holden wide open on the right side corner, and Tanner Holden made Michigan State pay for not guarding him on that one.
There will actually be a personal foul call on Holden after that one. So Michigan State will get 2 free shots, give those to Joey Hauser. Caleb, did you see anything that we necessarily weren't super sure of? It looked like he just kind of celebrated his 3 a little bit.
It was a Class A technical on Holden.
Yeah, my first thought was maybe a celebration, but then I didn't see any of that. I think my best look was at that right elbow. I think there was some contact from not Holden, so I don't know why you would have called it on him, but I saw some contact that I think maybe was called, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure.
We do thank you for your input. It does mean a lot to us.
Didn't see anything that would be technical worthy in my book either.
Makes sense. Joey Hauser did shoot those 2 and make them both, so it is 20-17 now. Hauser now with the ball himself. Passes inside to Kohler, just came back after some limited minutes. Back to Hogard, top of the key. Ice Likely clamping him up. Spins around though. What a move. Passes to the corner. Looks like there's some hard contact on Suing. And that will be Ohio State's ball now. Good on Suing to take it, but got to make sure he's all right.
Suing there might not have had his feet 100% set, but Hogard hit him so hard coming in. Looks like he did get his feet set down fast, and he got knocked down pretty hard, so that one was clearly a charge on Michigan State.
Square in the chest. I mean, the veteran out of Honolulu, Hawaii, he's done that for years at this point. And I got to say, the way he's been playing the past few games, his draft stock is definitely going up, but he doesn't want to go home now. He wants to continue on till tomorrow. Thornton now, top of the key, drives inside, has some miscommunication, and the ball is still almost stripped from him, but he saves it back to McNeil to reset. 10 on the shot clock. Being held at 35 on defense. Likely, jab, drives inside with the right. Floater, he got it. It is 22-17 with just under 8 minutes here to go.
That's now 6 points for Bruce Thornton, so getting closer to his 7th double-digit game.
Drive inside from Akins, passes out to Hogard, right wing, who passes up to Tyson Walker, kind of resetting here, looking for a shot. Behind the back shot, but blocked by Thornton, but a rebound by Kohler, and has to reset. As Ohio State's defense is looking good. Pass inside to Kohler, but tipped by Thornton and stolen by Suing.
Great defense by Ohio State there on that hustle play.
Thornton now resetting, and actually a tip off the hands of Ice Likely. His defense has been absolutely phenomenal in the past few games as Thornton now drives left, steps back, step back 3 again. No good, bounces off, rebound Akpara, and there will be a foul against Jackson Kohler, and that will go the way of Ohio State, but a timeout on the floor.
And Akpara there again going in strong for the rebound. We talked about how important it was going to be for Ohio State, for Akpara to go out, be strong down low, grab those rebounds without sense of ball.
And just a few minutes ago, we had talked about how Michigan State had 0 team fouls. They now have 4. And at that point as well, Ohio State had 14 fouls, and they've only gained 1 in that time. So it looks like the foul battle here is now going the way of Ohio State, but we are actually going to take you guys aside for just a second. Be back here in just over a minute again on SGSR TV and SGSR.
Barrio Tacos is now open right in the heart of the Ohio State campus at 15th and High. Serving tacos and margaritas late night each night, Barrio has an incredible happy hour with half-off margs and $1 off tacos weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Don't forget, Barrio accepts Buck ID and is offering to-go and DoorDash. You can also catch Barrio tacos inside the shoe during game days at Section 10A and at their taco truck Mondays to Fridays, parked right outside the RPAC.
Tune into the Block O Show presented by Barrio Tacos for an inside look at the 2022-23 Ohio State football season. Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio team of football broadcasters previews each week of the Buckeyes football season, featuring opposing reporters from student journalists across the country. Listen to the Block O Show presented by Barrio Tacos every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hi, this is Caleb Spinner.
And this is Tyler Danberg.
Together, we co-host the Ohio State of Mind, Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's podcast covering all things Ohio State athletics. Join us Mondays and Fridays as we recap and preview every Ohio State sporting event from the past week.
We also talk to current and former Buckeye athletes in our interview series Behind the Buckeye. Follow the Ohio State of Mind on Twitter at State of Mind OSU for more information on the show.
We hope to see you there, but for now, that's the ad. We're out of here.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Zachary Rodier here, the podcast coordinator for Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Here to tell you that if you want to listen to post-game coverage of your favorite Ohio State athletics, make sure you subscribe and listen to SGSR Recap, where post-game coverage of all the big games includes.
Back in the city that has some scenes from the greatest Batman movie I have at least watched. I think Caleb would agree with that, The Dark Knight. I don't know if you've seen that movie, Sarah, but
Not yet.
it's a great movie. I just got to say, that's the nerd in me talking. I'm sorry, but as Heath Ledger likes to say, and here we go, as Ohio State will now re-inbound the ball on the left wing, or no, left side, excuse me, as Sewing will now bring it inside. Two on him, hits it to Akpara inside and throws it down. A dunk we don't see much from Ohio State, but that is another point for them, 24-17. Michigan State now moving the ball a bit more, seeing if they can find anything after letting up almost an easy shot on that one. Trey Holloman kind of running around. Back to him, up to the Big Ten logo, crosses Ice Likely's great on perimeter defense in this one so far. He's got a pass. Akins got 8 seconds on the shot, in the corner three, no one on him, and it is no good for Holloman, but off the hand of Sewing.
And I think, like you said, you just pointed out, Ice Likely's defense, a lot of times people don't pay attention to players if they're not on the stat sheet and they're not scoring. And so you have to keep in mind those players who are going out and hustling and just doing the dirty work like Ice Likely has done for Ohio State so far in this tournament.
Ice Likely, when he was in the Big 12 at Oklahoma State, they're one of the most dominant conferences when it comes to hard-nosed basketball like Kansas. So his defense is definitely needed here. As there's a drive inside by Jordan Akins, and rebound by Akpara. And they will move quick as Ohio State and Thornton are looking for anything they can. Slows down now, realizing he's got some time. Ice Likely now running the point. We don't see that much, normally at the 2. Runs to the left side, in, right, tries to pass to Akpara, and just a bit much on it, and it will be a turnover for Ohio State.
Ice Likely's been running the point a little bit more in this game, and I wonder if part of that is just giving Bruce Thornton the opportunity to be a 2 or 3 for Ohio State and get some more points off.
I actually have to agree on that, especially with Sensabaugh being out. It's not as easy to do that as Holloman passes inside. Holloman back to him, though. Right elbow J, and that was silky. There was nothing on that one, 24-19. Almost no defense for Ohio State with about 5 minutes to go.
Michigan State is loving that spot so far.
Yeah, and if they're going to keep finding it, they're going to keep taking it. As Thornton now passes to McNeil on his right side, inside quick with a bullet pass to Sewing in the post. Got Hall on him, drives to his left, in the post again, out to Thornton, goes to the left baseline, contested with a right, but he's got it, and it is 26-19 with 5:30 to go.
2 more points for Thornton, and he will be in his double digits.
Malik Hall now running the ball, one of those guys who's great off the bench for Sparty. Ball is to him now, and he passes inside to Jaden Akins, and he goes in, and it will be a blocking foul on Ohio State, so Michigan will retain it.
Sean McNeil on the driving line bumped him a little bit as Akins was trying to go in for the shot, and that's who they're going to call that on.
The first for McNeil, but the team 6 as Roddy Gale Jr. will now check in it looked like for Ice likely gets him a little bit better on defense, maybe a little bit different when it comes to the offensive positioning, as there's an inbound quick shot for Michigan State. No good, and there will be a rebound tip from Akpara to Gale.
And Roddy Gale Jr. not playing as much in this first half with 2 player fouls, so having to be a little more careful on his play.
Thornton posted up at the half. You don't see that much, but some good defense by Sparty in Michigan State as Thornton now calling for the isolation. Hits Sewing right side. Thought about a 3. Calls for a left side screen from Akpara. Fakes it inside. Left side. Free throw line jumper and just rolls around in a rebound by Akins.
That one a little too far off the glass. A little bit more and the bank might have been open.
I like that. That was good. As Malik Hall now has it inside, being absolutely bodied by Sewing, but a rebound by Hauser as he brings it and resets the clock. 3 for Akins. No good. Long rebound for McNeil in Ohio State.
Ohio State out rebounding Michigan State right now, so even with Sissoko, who we said was going to be so strong for Michigan State, but he's not in the game right now, so makes it a little bit harder for their rebounding game.
Holtmann again in the black polo, calling for a bit of a slowdown with just about 4 to go here as Sean McNeil's running the ball, driving to his left side. Left elbow J, money. There's nothing to stop that one. 28-19 with 3:55 to go. McNeil's feeling it, and he's talking as there's a timeout.
Sean McNeil has been so strong for the Buckeyes in this tournament so far. He has 5 points tonight, and crazily enough, not his most high-scoring half so far.
He's one of those guys who we had talked about in the last few games. He's got to step it up. After averaging 9 just at the end of the regular season, there were times where he was either the best player on the court, arguably one of the worst when it looks at his field goal percentage. He's a guy who's been known as a three-point shooter, the guy who was at West Virginia for a couple of years, and the community college, somewhat sort of a product before going there. As he's looking to up his draft stock and keep it alive tomorrow, Ohio State's feeling good. I would not be surprised if they just keep hammering on to see what they can do for the lead.
If they continue to keep playing like this, there's no reason why they can't win this game.
And Tom Izzo said, the head coach of Michigan State, after finding out yesterday they would be playing Ohio State for the 3rd time this season, he was asked by the media, what do you think about Ohio State in this point, and what do you think about the teams? Do you think you can beat them and not worry about it because you are 2-0 against them in the regular season? And Izzo said along the lines of, no, I'm not worried about us destroying them 3-0. Every team in this tournament can beat any team. It doesn't matter. As long as you start feeling it, it's not really something that you could take lightly. Every team's going to go for it. I mean, we saw the 14 seed Minnesota win their first game, and no one expected that.
Exactly, and this just shows you how competitive of a league it is. I mean, even in the last game that just ended with Purdue and Rutgers, the 9 seed against Purdue, the number 1 seed, gave them a run for their money the entire game, and at points was leading and very well likely could have won that game. So again here, and you can never count Ohio State out. They have the talent, they have the ability. When they're playing well, they're hard to be stopped.
100%, but also Purdue. I mean, the way they played, if you saw them, they honestly thought that they weren't going to necessarily play everyone they had. A lot of their guys were actually not even in their uniforms. They were in their starting shirts for their warm-ups. And it kind of showed as Zach Edey, he's one of those guys you can't take lightly, clearly. Potential number 1 overall pick, potential Charlotte Hornet. I know some people might be excited about that, but when you have him, it looked like they almost kind of counted out Rutgers, and Rutgers were giving them a run for their money. Every game so far has been very close, so you can't count a single person out, and I wouldn't count out Ohio State still being 13 going up against 4 Michigan State.
Absolutely not, especially with Ohio State having so many different scoring threats right now. At least 5 players with points. Thornton, McNeil, Sewing, Akpara, and even Holden, who hasn't even played in this Big Ten tournament yet so far, has 3 points on the game. So many different players who can be threats on the offense.
One of those guys, Holden, when you're getting minimal minutes, you have to give it everything. So it looks so far like he's trying to do that. As Trey Holloman hits it to the left wing, inside now to Walker, who passes it to Hall, being absolutely bodied again in the paint, but called for a foul on Sewing as he and Akpara both tried to double team him, but Michigan State now in the bonus, but 0 points in the last 2.5 minutes.
Lots of fouls being called so far in this game. Again, we talked about Michigan State with 4, Ohio State now with 7. So another 3 minutes and 40 seconds left, and they're already in the bonus.
Going for another free throw shot here. Ohio State still has none as the first one for Hall bounces around and misses. So Ohio State feeling that one, but you always got another one.
Exactly, and 1 for 2 is better than 0 for 2, and it's one more point for a possibility on the board.
Hall shoots it. Nothing but net. He's got it. 28-20. As Ohio State's inbounding now, 3:40 to go. Trying to just hold the lead here going into the half. They'd feel pretty confident about holding another lead going into a half against a team that, let's be real, dominated them in the regular season.
And Ohio State has a decent lead and a huge dunk there by Okpara as well to extend it.
A lob from Thornton to Okpara looked good. Okpara, 2 dunks now in this one. You don't see that too often.
He
30
loves
to
the
20.
alley-oop too.
If they can keep doing it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Tyson Walker now finding any open man, hits Trey Holloman to his right, who passes to his left inside. Shot up. Michigan State, no good, but a rebound by Sissoko, and oh my goodness. He threw that down with some authority. Looked like prime Shaquille O'Neal.
And that was a way to respond, and we just talked about Sissoko and his ability to rebound and how much Michigan State is hurting in that area when he's out.
All those fans from East Lansing, are getting loud here in West Lansing, it seems, in Chicago. As Sewing is now going for a jab inside Sissoko, looking for what he can. Right elbow, pass it to Thornton. Swings it left to Gale. Step back 3, corner, money! And it's another one. 33-22, up 11 with 2:20 to go. And Michigan State's moving quick. Ohio State's defense in. Hall has it, hits it to Walker on his left. Inside, floater up and drops. 33-24 now, 2:15 to go.
Defense has kind of gone a little bit out the window as it's back and forth for Ohio State and Michigan State, just like it was in that Iowa game that OSU played in.
Both games and most of the games so far are being pretty back and forth, and this one, as Sewing now running the ball, passes to his right to Thornton, passes also to Okpara over to his left, finds a running Gale Jr. He's now holding the ball, crossover, right side, gets past the guy, contested layup, no good. A rebound by Hall.
Nice move by Roddy Gale Jr. Has the opportunity to be confident with the play he did last night.
Hall driving inside, tries to hit Sissoko, but stolen by Ohio State and Thornton, and they're trying to reset with 1:35 to go.
Ohio State slowing down here, and a timeout it looks like.
Looks like another timeout on the floor. This one for Ohio State. Holtmann's first in this half so far. Being up like they are, they're playing pretty confident. Their defense is still, honestly, kind of their top priority so far. 4 blocks in this one to this point.
And Ohio State, like we've seen throughout most of their season, is predominantly an offensive team. So going out here and playing strong defense has really helped them in this Big Ten tournament to get these wins.
I think something that can't go unnoticed is the fact that they only have 3 turnovers and 4 blocks and 2 steals to it. A team that is most notoriously known for running a bit too fast at the beginning and turning it over way too much, actually kind of narrowing that down, as Michigan State has 4 turnovers on their own and 3 blocks and 2 steals, so they have more turnovers than they do positive defensive attributes. Michigan State, though, is one of those teams that they're pretty middle of the pack when it comes to offense and defense. It's not like Iowa where you're at the top for offense and at the bottom for defense. You're going to find them somewhere in this middle ground. And it has been a pretty defensive-heavy game, but Ohio State seems to come out on top in this one.
Ohio State just hustling a bit more than Michigan State, and that's allowed them the opportunity to be up 9 points.
Sewing passes in from the scorer's table from Gale right back to Sewing, though, as soon as he steps in. Okpara now finding Fake inside, but tipped away. Okpara gets it back. He's in the post on Sissoko, right side. Finds Sewing right wing. Fakes a step, 5 in the shot clock. Dribbles around. 3, pump fake, 3 again. An air ball on that one, and it will be a rebound for A.J. Hogard, and they're moving with just over a minute to go. Hogard inside now on Sewing. Sewing trying to get back after that miss. And Michigan State will reset quickly here with just under a minute to go here in this first half.
Ohio State held the ball on that last one to run out the clock, held it just a bit too long, and forced Sewing to take a shot that was not very good.
And it looked like there would be a steal for Ohio State as there was a potential pass inside, but it will be a call on Okpara as he just got a bit too much on Sissoko, holding the back of his jersey on that one, and it will be his second and the team's 8th. Michigan State now in the bonus.
Solid defense by Ohio State, but again, a lot of fouls are being called right now by the refs, which is when you need to be the most careful.
That is true, but also getting down, luckily just under a minute here in this one. So nothing too crazy as Tanner Holden will check in for the recently checked out Roddy Gale Jr. You got the freshman going out for the senior. Holden, you want one of those guys to have a good defensive day, but that right corner three, if he can feel it like that from beyond the arc, it's going to be good for Ohio State.
And Holden, the transfer from Wright State, has only played 4 minutes but has 3 points.
And a miss there from Sissoko and a rebound by Sewing hits to Thornton. 45 seconds left. You could assume Ohio State's just going to try to run the clock out on this half and keep their lead, hopefully building upon it going into the second. Thornton now being the floor general, calling for it, hits it to his right to Sewing. Holden, right side, just about 8 on the shot clock. Goes for a fake, hits Sewing. Top of the key, 3, no good. Rebound by Michigan State and A.J. Hogard. No longer having a shot clock on, just under 20 seconds to go. And Hogard looks like he will just call off the dogs for a second and either look for a final shot or hold it into the half.
I'm assuming looking for a final shot here by Michigan State.
Hogard behind the back, hits it to his right to Walker, looking for a shot. Elbow, back at the Hauser, his 3 from the right. No good, and there is the horn, and that will be the first half. Ohio State leads so far in this one, 33-24, and they're looking real good so far in this one.
They're looking real good, like you said, and I mean, they are not letting the fact that they are 0-2 against Michigan State so far this season affect their play, up 9 points at the half.
A setting like this, being down 0-2 on the season for them, Ohio State has to be playing with some blood in the water, realizing, you know, screw what you guys think. We don't care. We're going to be the team that needs to win. But we have 15 minutes or so off, and then we'll be back. Sara will be doing play-by-play in the second half. I'll be on color. We thank you guys so much for listening to this first half of Ohio State, Michigan State basketball. 33-24, Buckeyes lead it on SGSR and SGSR TV.
Barrio Tacos is now open right in the heart of the Ohio State campus at 15th and High. Serving tacos and margaritas late night each night, Barrio has an incredible happy hour with half-off margs and $1 off tacos weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Don't forget, Barrio accepts Buck ID and is offering to-go and DoorDash. You can also catch Barrio Tacos inside the shoe during game days at Section 10A and at their taco truck Mondays to Fridays, parked right outside the RPAC.
Tune into the Block O Show presented by Barrio Tacos for an inside look at the 2022-23 Ohio State football season. Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio team of football broadcasters previews each week of the Buckeyes football season, featuring opposing reporters from student journalists across the country. Listen to the Block O Show presented by Barrio Tacos every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hi, this is Caleb Spinner.
And this is Tyler Danberg.
Together, we co-host the Ohio State of Mind, Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's podcast covering all things Ohio State athletics. Join us Mondays and Fridays as we recap and preview every Ohio State sporting event from the past week.
We also talk to current and former Buckeye athletes in our interview series Behind the Buckeye. Follow the Ohio State of Mind on Twitter at State of Mind OSU for more information on the show.
We hope to see you there, but for now, that's the ad. We're out of here.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Zachary Rodier here, the podcast coordinator for Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Here to tell you that if you want to listen to post-game coverage of your favorite Ohio State athletics, make sure you subscribe and listen to SGSR Recap, where post-game coverage of all the big games, including football, big hockey, basketball, and everything around, will be on SGSR Recap in case you miss post-game live on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. So make sure you listen to SGSR Recap on your favorite listening platform on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hey Buckeye fans, this is Patrick Engels, president of the Sports and Society Initiative Student Club. Are you interested in pursuing a career in sports and hearing from professionals who work in the sports industry? If so, then come find us in room 274 of the Journalism Building for SSI's bi-weekly meetings. Join us every other Monday at 7:30 p.m. to hear from qualified guest speakers who work in sports throughout Columbus, Ohio, and beyond. For questions regarding our club, please contact myself, our treasurer Jacob Benj, or our advisor Dr. Nicole Kraft. Go Bucks!
This is Matt Goldman, Vice President of SGSR, and you're listening to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, the official student radio network of Ohio State Athletics.
Coming soon to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, Season 2 of the Nothing But Nylon podcast with Gabe and Tyreek, covering all things Ohio State men's basketball.
Bringing you news, analysis, and more. Episodes will be coming to you every Tuesday starting November 1st. We hope to see you soon on Nothing But Nylon. Peace.
Hey everyone, my name is Jack Murphy, and I'm one of the co-hosts of The Nightcap, a new podcast here at Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Join me and my co-host Sam Cerrone every week for a discussion about the current state of sports and an interview with one of the top members of the Ohio State athletic community. We have a new podcast every Wednesday, and you can get us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Go Bucks.
Zachary Rodier here, host of 614 Check on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's Podcast Network. We're the only dedicated podcast talking about the Ohio State men's and women's ice hockey teams and the Columbus Blue Jackets. In each episode, we will cover everything you need to know in the NHL and NCAA surrounding the 614 hockey area code, and we will have exclusive interviews with the best 614 hockey personalities, including players, media personnel, and journalists. Listen to 614 Check, linktr.ee/614check, 4check spelled FORECHECK. Hope to see you there.
Barrio Tacos is now open right in the heart of the Ohio State campus at 15th and High. Serving tacos and margaritas late night each night, Barrio has an incredible happy hour with half-off margs and $1-off tacos weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Don't forget, Barrio accepts Buck ID and is offering to-go and DoorDash. You can also catch Barrio Tacos inside the shoe during game days at Section 10A and at their taco truck Mondays to Fridays, parked right outside the RPAC.
Tune into the Block O Show, presented by Barrio Tacos, for an inside look at the 2022-23 Ohio State football season. Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio team of football broadcasters previews each week of the Buckeyes football season, featuring opposing reporters from student journalists across the country. Listen to the Block O Show, presented by Barrio Tacos, every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hi, this is Caleb Spinner.
And this is Tyler Danberg.
Together, we co-host the Ohio State of Mind, Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's podcast covering all things Ohio State athletics. Join us Mondays and Fridays as we recap and preview every Ohio State sporting event from the past week.
We also talk to current and former Buckeye athletes in our interview series Behind the Buckeye. Follow the Ohio State of Mind on Twitter at State of Mind OSU for more information on the show.
We hope to see you there, but for now, that's the ad. We're out of here.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Zachary Rodier here, the podcast coordinator for Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Here to tell you that if you want to listen to post-game coverage of your favorite Ohio State athletics, make sure you subscribe and listen to SGSR Recap, where post-game coverage of all the big games, including football, big hockey, basketball, and everything around will be on SGSR Recap in case you miss post-game live on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. So make sure you listen to SGSR Recap on your favorite listening platform on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hey Buckeye fans, this is Patrick Engels, president of the Sports and Society Initiative Student Club. Are you interested in pursuing a career in sports and hearing from professionals who work in the sports industry? If so, then come find us in room 274 of the Journalism Building for SSI's bi-weekly meetings. Join us every other Monday at 7:30 p.m. to hear from qualified guest speakers who work in sports throughout Columbus, Ohio, and beyond. For questions regarding our club, please contact myself, our treasurer Jacob Benj, or our advisor Dr. Nicole Kraft. Go Bucks!
This is Matt Goldman, Vice President of SGSR, and you're listening to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, the official student radio network of Ohio State Athletics.
Coming soon to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, Season 2 of the Nothing But Nylon podcast with Gabe and Tyreek, covering all things Ohio State men's basketball.
Bringing you news, analysis, and more. Episodes will be coming to you every Tuesday starting November 1st. We hope to see you soon on Nothing But Nylon. Peace.
Hey everyone, my name is Jack Murphy, and I'm one of the co-hosts of The Nightcap, a new podcast here at Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Join me and my co-host Sam Cerrone every week for a discussion about the current state of sports and an interview with one of the top members of the Ohio State athletic community. We have a new podcast every Wednesday, and you can get us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Go Bucks.
Zachary Rodier here, host of 614 Check on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's Podcast Network. We're the only dedicated podcast talking about the Ohio State men's and women's ice hockey teams and the Columbus Blue Jackets. In each episode, we will cover everything you need to know in the NHL and NCAA surrounding the 614 hockey area code, and we will have exclusive interviews with the best 614 hockey personalities, including players, media personnel, and journalists. Listen to 614 Check, linktr.ee/614check, 4check spelled FORECHECK. Hope to see you there.
Barrio Tacos is now open right in the heart of the Ohio State campus at 15th and High. Serving tacos and margaritas late night each night, Barrio has an incredible happy hour with half-off margs at $1 off tacos weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Don't forget, Barrio accepts Buck ID and is offering to-go and DoorDash. You can also catch Barrio Tacos inside the shoe during game days at Section 10A and at their taco truck Mondays to Fridays, parked right outside the RPAC.
Tune into the Block O Show, presented by Barrio Tacos, for an inside look at the 2022-23 Ohio State football season. Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio team of football broadcasters previews each week of the Buckeyes football season, featuring opposing reporters from student journalists across the country. Listen to the Block O Show, presented by Barrio Tacos, every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hi, this is Caleb Spinner.
And this is Tyler Danberg.
Together, we co-host the Ohio State of Mind, Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's podcast covering all things Ohio State athletics. Join us Mondays and Fridays as we recap and preview every Ohio State sporting event from the past week.
We also talk to current and former Buckeye athletes in our interview series Behind the Buckeye. Follow the Ohio State of Mind on Twitter at State of Mind OSU for more information on the show.
We hope to see you there, but for now, that's the ad. We're out of here.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Zachary Rodier here, the podcast coordinator for Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, here to tell you that if you want to listen to post-game coverage of your favorite Ohio State athletics, make sure you subscribe and listen to SGSR Recap, where post-game coverage of all the big games, including football, big hockey, basketball, and everything around, will be on SGSR Recap in case you miss post-game live on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. So make sure you listen to SGSR Recap on your favorite listening platform on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hey Buckeye fans, this is Patrick Engels, president of the Sports and Society Initiative Student Club. Are you interested in pursuing a career in sports and hearing from professionals who work in the sports industry? If so, then come find us in room 274 of the Journalism Building for SSI's bi-weekly meetings. Join us every other Monday at 7:30 p.m. to hear from qualified guest speakers who work in sports throughout Columbus, Ohio, and beyond. For questions regarding our club, please contact myself, our treasurer Jacob Benj, or our advisor, Dr. Nicole Kraft. Go Bucks!
This is Matt Goldman, Vice President of SGSR, and you're listening to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, the official student radio network of Ohio State Athletics.
Coming soon to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, Season 2 of the Nothing But Nylon podcast with Gabe and Tyreek, covering all things Ohio State men's basketball.
Bringing you news, analysis, and more. Episodes will be coming to you every Tuesday starting November 1st. We hope to see you soon on Nothing But Nylon. Peace.
Hey everyone, my name is Jack Murphy, and I'm one of the co-hosts of The Nightcap, a new podcast here at Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Join me and my co-host Sam Cerrone every week for a discussion about the current state of sports and an interview with one of the top members of the Ohio State athletic community. We have a new podcast every Wednesday, and you can get us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Go Bucks.
Zachary Rodier here, host of 614 Check on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's Podcast Network. We're the only dedicated podcast talking about the Ohio State men's and women's ice hockey teams and the Columbus Blue Jackets. In each episode, we will cover everything you need to know in the NHL and NCAA surrounding the 614 hockey area code, and we will have exclusive interviews with the best 614 hockey personalities, including players, media personnel, and journalists. Listen to 614 Check, linktr.ee/614check, 4check spelled FORECHECK. Hope to see you there.
Barrio Tacos is now open right in the heart of the Ohio State campus at 15th and High. Serving tacos and margaritas late night each night, Barrio has an incredible happy hour with half-off margs and $1 off tacos weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Don't forget, Barrio accepts Buck ID and is offering to-go and DoorDash. You can also catch Barrio Tacos inside the shoe during game days at Section 10A and at their taco truck Mondays to Fridays, parked right outside the RPAC.
Tune into the Block O Show presented by Barrio Tacos for an inside look at the 2022-23 Ohio State football season. Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio team of football broadcasters previews each week of the Buckeyes football season, featuring opposing reporters from student journalists across the country. Listen to the Block O Show presented by Barrio Tacos every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hi, this is Caleb Spinner.
And this is Tyler Danberg.
Together, we co-host the Ohio State of Mind, Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's podcast covering all things Ohio State athletics. Join us Mondays and Fridays as we recap and preview every Ohio State sporting event from the past week.
We also talk to current...
Good afternoon and welcome back to SGSR and SGSR TV. I am Sara Sharp alongside Austin Crume and our producer Caleb Spinner. A minute and a half left until we start the second half of Ohio State versus Michigan State basketball here in the United Center. The Buckeyes up 33-24 after the first half. And Austin, what have you seen so far in the first half to give the Buckeyes this lead?
I mean, what I saw is their defense is just looking really good. The past two games, especially yesterday against Iowa, they realized when they were playing Wisconsin the day prior, they're not necessarily worried as much as defense, just more about scoring more than the other team. And worrying about defense and worrying about scoring more are two very separate things. So the way they've played their defense, the limiting on turnovers, more blocks, more getting guys in the lane to stop the big men, it's looked really good for them so far. And not necessarily having any standout players. I mean, you have Thornton with 8 points, and you have Sewing with 8. Akpara with 6, which you don't see too much. But his one block as well, his one block and 2 rebounds have looked really good so far in this, especially going up against Jackson Kohler and Madi Sissoko. Sissoko, a guy who we saw throw one down, and Akpara just kind of ran away. He didn't want anything to do with it.
And you talked so much about that defense. Ohio State held Wisconsin to 18 points at the half on Wednesday, and now holding Michigan State to 24. So they have had some huge defensive games, even against Iowa yesterday as well, holding them to under 30 points too. So defense has been strong for the Buckeyes, and offense as well, as there are 6 players now for Ohio State who have scored and are on the board so far.
Yeah, fate does have it known, though, that big leads like these in every game so far do not stick. As much as Ohio State is up 9 points at this moment, that could disappear in a heartbeat. There could be 2 shots right away from Michigan State, and boom, they're right back in it. So Ohio State, they just got to keep building and building, but their defense at the bare minimum has to stay at the level it was in the first half.
And Ohio State about to inbound, as it will be Buckeyes ball. They are in their scarlet uniforms today, as Michigan State is in their white with the green trim. Ohio State shooting at the right side of the court, and Michigan State on the left. Justice Sewing inbounding into Bruce Thornton. We have Thornton, Akpara, Roddy Gale Jr., Sewing, and McNeil for the Buckeyes offensive lineup to start. Sewing passes into Thornton in the backcourt. Intense defense by Walker on Thornton. He passes to Sewing, then to McNeil on the right wing, back to Thornton with a bounce pass at the top of the key. Thornton dribbling onto the right side, shoots it from outside the right elbow, clanks it off the front of the rim. Michigan State with the rebound, as Hogard will take it up the court.
Got to give Thornton credit. He's going for it right away. Good for him, though. Miss a shot, but just get warmed back up after that 15-minute break.
Hogard to Akins on the right corner. Akins to Hauser, dribbles in to the right block, his back to Sewing, and the shot puts it up, spins around, and toilet bowls it in for another 2 points for Michigan State and Hauser.
Hauser with a good shot there on that one. A post fade, we haven't seen him do much of this time. We saw him kind of go straight up in the first half with layups.
Sewing now taking the ball down the court as he dribbles into his left hand, handoff to Roddy Gale Jr., back to Thornton on the left wing, top of the key. Akpara pass fake, sends it to Sewing behind the back, top of the key, dribbles into the right elbow, back out to Sean McNeil at the top of the key. McNeil shoots the three-point shot off tempo. That one not even close.
Yeah, he had 5 seconds or so left on the shot clock, so I understand having to chuck it up, but there wasn't really a good look on that. About 37 or so feet out, just threw it up and hoped, but didn't even hit net.
Michigan State now sending the ball down the court. Hogard between the legs, dribbles. Roddy Gale defending him. Passes to Walker on the left wing and then down to Sissoko. Back to Walker, over to the right wing, shoots it up, and it is good. 3 points for Walker.
And right away, as I said, you can't allow each team, regardless of who you're playing, to get back into it quick, and just right away, it's a close one. Just 4 points.
Ohio State up 33-29. Bruce Thornton now has the ball at the top of the key. Dribbles down to the left wing, his back to the defender, and then over to the right wing. Dribbles into the basket and shoots it up from the block, right-handed on the left side, and one for Thornton, and now double digits.
Thornton yesterday was going more for jumpers. On this, he looks like to go with his right on layups. He's feeling way more comfortable with it and just hitting double digits there. That is now his 7th straight game of double-digit points. And in most of those games, he's actually gotten past the 15-point mark. And going for his free throw shot here could make it 11 right away.
Thornton dribbles, squares up and shoots, and his free throw shot is good. 3-point play for Bruce Thornton. Michigan State now inbounding. Hogard once again taking the ball down the court with Roddy Gale Jr. defending. Ball in his left hand, passes to the left wing to Walker. Walker then to Sissoko. Sissoko to Hauser at the top of the key. Over to the left wing, Hogard. Hogard dribbles into the right side with the right hand, puts it up a little too high, but he's going to get the foul on that one.
It looked like Akpara went up for the actual block and either landed hard, or it was Gale Jr. again smacking. No, and it will be on actually Gale going up to contest it and kind of just hits the arm of the Michigan State player.
And Gale Jr. not happy with that call, as he thought he got knocked in the chin and maybe it should have gone the other way. Michigan State shooting their 9th and 10th free throws of the game. Ohio State and Michigan State both with 1 foul so far in the second half. Hogard, good 1 for 1 so far.
Hogard shot 81.5% during the regular season, 113 for 136 from the charity stripe. So this is one of those guys at Ohio State, you don't want to get him there because he can knock those down easy, and now it's within 6.
Up for his second shot, sends it off the back of the rim, 1 for 2 for Hogard. Like you said, who is usually a pretty strong free throw shooter. Thornton has the ball, sending it down the court as he dribbles at the top of the key and then over to the right wing and then back up to McNeil. McNeil to the left wing, Sewing. Sewing dribbles in and out, back to the elbow. His back to the shot and he loses it as it is now Hauser with the ball. Hauser back to Hogard. Hogard at the top of the key, dribbling with his left hand over to the left wing and then back over to the right. Hogard dribbling, passes to the right corner, and that is Akins for a 2-point shot for the Spartans. It is 36-32 now, Ohio State up by 4.
McNeil tried to jump to get the defense right in his face, but Gale Jr. actually had to go after jumping too far, but still made it.
The Michigan State crowd is getting loud as Thornton has the ball on the left wing and then dribbles to the right wing. He pushes in to put a shot up with his left hand, and it is blocked by Michigan State as they grab the rebound, and Hogard's going to send it back down all the way to the left side, and another 2 points for Michigan State on that layup by Hogard.
Great block by Sissoko, sent it, and it was a good scoop and score there by Hogard. They're getting back, and there will be a timeout. About 17,000 deep here, and it is rowdy so far.
Michigan State with all of the momentum coming into the second half.
It looks like they're playing with some different intensity in this one, and we're just going to have to see what Michigan State's really going to do. Ohio State forced to call a timeout. Like you say, all these games are so close. You can't really put a team out or back into it. We saw what Rutgers did, number 9 to number 1 Purdue. It was so close. But Michigan State and their fans, they're really traveling well. It is loud in here, almost as loud as it was for the home team Purdue in the game prior. So the fans definitely having some input. They were pretty quiet in the first half, but really getting rowdy within the past 2 minutes or so.
And we know in the Wisconsin game that Ohio State played on Wednesday, there were a lot of Wisconsin fans here as well, and that affected their ability to shoot, especially from the free throw line. The crowd makes a huge difference in your ability to feel confident and your motivation and your energy in total. So a lot of audience energy for Michigan State right now, not much for Ohio State.
Yeah, it was almost a very similar situation timing-wise for the Wisconsin. Their somewhat turnaround to break that lead down from where they were only 18 at the half. And they came back within like the first 4 to 5 minutes. They were really just climbing, and Ohio State wasn't looking the greatest. And that fan crowd definitely gave Wisconsin and the Badgers some life as it just got louder and louder and louder. And I think Holtmann did a very similar move, forcing his team to get a timeout to kind of reset and rehydrate. And you can only hope, if you're an Ohio State fan and if you're on the Buckeyes team themselves, that this kind of timeout can help reset how you're feeling and reset the opposing fans.
And like you said, Wisconsin came back with vengeance in the second half, and it was tough for Ohio State to pull out that win. And Michigan State, they're going to come back even harder. They're an impressive team, and they know that they can beat this Ohio State team, and the energy is all in their court right now.
Oh, 100%. And for Michigan State, their first game being in the quarterfinals, you can maybe say that Ohio State has a little bit less of the rust on them because they've played 2 games prior. But the quarterfinal round is one of those rounds where some of the teams who haven't played so far get their first licks on the court. So after this game, we have number 7 Penn State going up against number 2 Northwestern. Northwestern has not played a game so far, and number 7 Penn State actually won yesterday against Illinois, so that was a good home crowd, but the upset there. And the game after that is number 6 Maryland going against number 3 IU, who have not played a game as well. Those will both be 25 minutes after the previous tip-off. So whenever this game ends, 25 minutes after will be the Penn State Northwestern game, and then 25 minutes after that will be Maryland IU. There's still a lot of basketball left today, so there are a lot of fans in here, not just Ohio State and Michigan State.
And like you said, Michigan State playing their first game. Ohio State has had to play the last 2 days, and this is their 3rd day of playing in a row, so could be a little bit tired from those last 2 games.
Definitely could, but the momentum definitely runs through you, and these guys are so locked in. I don't think being tired is really a problem.
Buckeye ball, Roddy Gale Jr. to Sewing and back up to Thornton at the top of the key. Takes it to the left wing, hand off to Sean McNeil. Cross over and pushes it to inside of the right wing. And then to Roddy Gale Jr. at the right wing. Shoots it up from right inside of the 3-point line. That one bounces off the front of the rim. Akpara tries to put it back up. It is no good, and it will be Spartans ball.
Yeah, it was a kind of a little scrum down in the restricted area. It looked like Sewing and Akpara went to go get it, and it just hit off the hands of Akpara.
Spartans taking the ball up the court. It is number 11, Hogard, once again for Michigan State at the top of the key. Snappy bounce pass down to Hauser, and an open shot from the right block, and it is no good as Ohio State grabs the rebound. Thornton now with the ball at the top of the key, crosses over to his right hand to the left wing. Roddy Gale Jr. back up to Thornton at the right wing, and it is count 3 points for Bruce Thornton.
Thornton's first 3 in this one, and it looked silky smooth. He didn't miss it, and you can expect him to get more of those as he's now at 14 points.
Ohio State up 39-34, 15 minutes left in the second half. Michigan State with the ball. It is Malik Hall, takes it down to the left block, shoots it up. It is blocked by Ohio State. They snag the rebound. Bruce Thornton with the ball at the top and passes over to McNeil at the right wing, and then Roddy Gale Jr. at the right corner, dribbles in, back out to McNeil and back to Thornton at the top of the key. He holds it on his left hip, dribbles inside of the 3-point line, passes back out to Sewing on the left wing, and another 3-pointer for Ohio State from Justice Sewing.
Sewing now with another 3. He's made 4 shots, 3 of them being 3-pointers, so he's definitely feeling it from beyond the arc.
Strong 3-point presence from Ohio State right now. Hogard with the ball, passes out to Walker. Takes it up to the top of the key, dribbling with his left hand, cross over to the right, setting up a screen by Hauser, and they're going to call a moving screen on Michigan State, and that is Jackson Kohler.
Jackson Kohler is still a freshman, like we had talked about. He hasn't been in big leverage situation games like these. Michigan State is one of those just absolutely touted teams when it gets to March. I mean, their slogan from John Rothstein is January, February Izzo. That's the way it works. Tom Izzo is one of those guys who is going to have a team that's going to be ready for the big dance. So these minutes here for Kohler are kind of the precursor to getting to that point. So you can see there's a little bit of jitters there. No points for him in about 6 minutes. 2 personal fouls and a turnover, so he may still be shaking those jitters off, but he has done something. He does have a rebound, and he's definitely filling his lane correctly.
He is, and now another time out here in Michigan State communicating, because they came out of this half strong, and then Ohio State responded well. Now up by 8, 42-34 off of those 2 3-pointers by Bruce Thornton and Sewing. And with those 2 3-pointers, Ohio State is hot right now. Do you think they're adjusting to defend from outside the arc a little bit better?
I think as a team that doesn't shoot that many 3-pointers, I mean, we had talked about it so many times, still 6.6 per game or so regular season, they're realizing that they have to be way better from beyond the arc. And for better or for worse, Zed Key, a guy who plays the 5, is not a 3-point shooter. So when you have an extra position, first off, Okpara, he's way taller than Zed Key, so it's easier to get rebounds. They may feel more comfortable and be more inclined to actually shoot beyond the arc, knowing you have a guy who's got more length over your normal 5 anchor. So there could be a potential for that, but a guy like Sewing, you normally see him go in from the post and not shoot as much. Going 4 for 11 so far from the field, but 3 and 5 from 3-point range. So he's feeling it from there, so you may not see him actually go into the post as much as he normally does and keep stretching the floor.
And Michigan State now stretching the floor, like you said, is going to have to pay attention to Sewing and Ohio State from the 3-point line, which can give Ohio State the opportunity to find players like Okpara down low. Again, he's 6'11", he's big, he shoots on the inside. So if Michigan State were to adjust and cover the 3-point a little bit stronger, the Buckeyes need to keep in mind players like Okpara in the middle.
Oh, 100%. And for Michigan State, you have a guy like Tyson Walker, averages 15. You have A.J. Hogard, averages 12. Joey Hauser averages 14.2. And these guys are around. So Walker's at 9 and Hauser's at 9. So you can't put them out of it yet. There's still 15 minutes of play. But when you look on the other side of the ball at Ohio State, they were on an 0-4 run going into this half for about 2 minutes. And right now on the flip side on a 6-0 run for just over a minute. So you can hope for them that this media timeout didn't kind of cool their fire.
And Ohio State so strong today, like you said. Okpara with 6 points, Holden with 3, Sewing with 11, McNeil 5, Thornton 14, and Gale 3. So a wide spread of players putting points on the board for Ohio State. On the other end, Hogard only with 3 points. You just talked about he averages 12.6, so a low-scoring game for him so far today.
Defense from him being guarded one-on-one by Sewing. Sewing has played some really phenomenal defense the past few days or so you know they're going to keep him on him to minimize the point damage.
Buckeyes now with Ice Likely taking the ball up the court as the point guard. He passes to Sean McNeil on the 3-point line. That is no good as he got tangled up, but no foul. Michigan State now with the rebound. Hogard once again at the top of the key. Dribbling with his left hand, picks it up and passes it over to Hall. Hall now at the top of the key, then to Walker. Walker to the left corner. Hogard puts it up, clanks it off the front of the rim, and Okpara for the Buckeyes comes down with the rebound.
Great rebound by Okpara. Was tried to be stripped by Sissoko, but just held onto it with 2 hands and made sure no one was going to pull it.
Thornton now with the ball on the left wing between the legs again, dribbles in, back out to the top of the key. Okpara looking for the pick and pop, no good. Passes to Sewing instead on the right corner, and that 3-pointer does not go for Justice Sewing, as Michigan State will now grab the rebound.
Luckily, they may not be making shots, Ohio State, but Michigan State's on a scoring drive for the last 3 minutes.
Hall with the ball passes it over to Hogard on the right wing, and then into Hauser at the elbow, pushes McNeil down, shoots it up, and flings it in to the hoop for 2 points for Michigan State.
Yeah, the mismatch there. Hauser definitely got on McNeil. McNeil being way smaller, so he was going to abuse that off ball.
Ice Likely once again playing the one position for the Buckeyes. He backs it down on Hauser with the right hand, shoots it up high, and there's an air ball there and a foul.
It honestly looked like Ice Likely was kind of just throwing it to see what he could get and praying that he would get the foul, and luckily for him, he does. But as we just saw and just said, Ohio State, they've been so back and forth now they're now on a scoring drought after going 6-0. So another scoring drought for them, hopefully looking to break it here with a free throw.
Ice Likely with his first point of the game for the Buckeyes, 1 for 1 from the free throw line.
That's what you want from him. A guy who only actually had 1 point yesterday. He went 1 for 2 at the charity stripe. But his defense is what was so phenomenal and got him some key minutes right at the end. I could see something very similar happen here in this one.
Ice Likely squares up, shoots, and he gets 2 for 2 for the Buckeyes as they are up 44-36, 12 minutes left. Akins with the ball for the Spartans, hands off to Walker and then to Hall at the top of the key, dribbling with his right hand. Passes down to Walker once again on the right wing, dribbles in, tries to send it into Sissoko, but it is knocked away by the Buckeyes and Justice Sewing grabs it. Sewing on the right wing up to Thornton. Thornton holds it, looks for McNeil now on the right wing. Holds it and then down to the corner, Sewing. Sewing up to McNeil, right wing again. Between the legs once again, shoots the shot, and it bounces off. Three-pointer no good. A tussle there, Okpara fighting for the rebound. And it's going to be a foul on the Spartans.
Okpara, he's played way more physical in the last few games, realizing maybe that he's going to have to step up his intensity after the Wisconsin game, even being one of the tallest guys on the court. He is not as muscular as some would like, and Holtmann says that he needs an offseason to kind of repair himself, but he's going to play with a lot of intensity, and it's been shown here so far. He's done so well and has 7 rebounds.
Likely inbounding underneath the Buckeye hoop, tries to send it up to Okpara, too high, and Hauser's able to grab it as he passes to Hall and then to Hogard, who is on the left wing of the Spartan side. Dribbles up to the top of the key slowly. Looking as Michigan State is trying to set something up, dribbles inside, back out to Hall, is going to shoot the three-pointer from the right wing. That one clanks off the back of the rim. Ohio State with the rebound.
Okpara's defense again went from inside to outside, switched to the perimeter on the shot from Hall. He's looking real good on defense. That's what Holtmann needs from him.
Thornton drives in from the right side, tries to put it up, but it is too high. Michigan State will grab it, and Hogard looking to return it on the right end. It is no good, knocked away. Michigan State fans mad about it. And then Thornton all the way in the backcourt gets a beautiful pass, and he is able to put it up on the return for the Buckeyes. 2 points off the layup on the right side.
McNeil quarterbacked that one to Thornton all the way in the opposite side paint. No one was there, and that was some free points.
Buckeyes up by 10. Hogard with the ball, hands it off to Walker. Walker at the top of the key, dribbles in on the right side, scoops it up. That one is no good, but he is going to draw the foul on Justice Sewing.
Sewing not happy about that one, and you kind of threw his hands around, not super happy. Likely kind of goes in for him with that as well. But Ohio State's defense looking good on that, and still another scoring drop from Michigan State. 2 minutes and 12 seconds at this point with another time out on the floor. And I think we're actually going to step aside for just about a minute or two here. Thank you guys so much for listening to us on SGSR TV and SGSR.
Barrio Tacos is now open right in the heart of the Ohio State campus at 15th and High. Serving tacos and margaritas late night each night, Barrio has an incredible happy hour with half-off margs and $1 off tacos weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Don't forget, Barrio accepts Buck ID and is offering to-go and DoorDash. You can also catch Barrio Tacos inside the shoe during game days at Section 10A and at their taco truck Mondays to Fridays, parked right outside the RPAC.
Tune into the Block O Show presented by Barrio Tacos for an inside look at the 2022-23 Ohio State football season. Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio team of football broadcasters previews each week of the Buckeyes football season, featuring opposing reporters from student journalists across the country. Listen to the Block O Show presented by Barrio Tacos every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hi, this is Caleb Spinner.
And this is Tyler Danberg.
Together, we co-host the Ohio State of Mind, Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's podcast covering all things Ohio State athletics. Join us Mondays and Fridays as we recap and preview every Ohio State sporting event from the past week.
We also talk to current and former Buckeye athletes in our interview series Behind the Buckeye. Follow the Ohio State of Mind on Twitter at State of Mind OSU for more information on the show.
We hope to see you there. But for now, that's the ad. We're out of here.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Zachary Rodier here, the podcast coordinator for Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Here to tell you that if you want to listen to post-game coverage of your favorite Ohio State athletics, make sure you subscribe and listen to SGSR Recap, where post-game coverage of all the big games, including football, big hockey, basketball, and everything around will be on SGSR Recap in case you miss post-game live on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. So make sure you listen to SGSR Recap on your favorite listening platform on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio.
We're back as Ohio State and Michigan State still in the timeout, talking over this second half. 11 minutes left. Buckeyes up by 10, 46-36, and this has been a fast-paced game so far.
This is one of these games where you kind of look down at the scorers table and go, how are they keeping up with updating everything in the arena? Because one shot goes in, and then half a second later, they're on the other side of the court with another shot, let alone the actual clock itself. Gone already through 8 minutes or so, and the first half went by, I at least think, went really quick, but showed how the teams are able to keep up with that pace, and it's just going back and forth.
And once you get into the second half, it's a bit more crunch time than that first half. You have the ability to let the clock run a little bit more, but now it's getting more serious.
At this point, if you're Ohio State, you do want the clock to run. And if you're Tom Izzo in Michigan State, you're looking and going, guys, don't look at the 11 on the shot clock, or don't look at anything. Look at how many points you're down and go second by second, and don't worry about it. And they can get some free points here, being at the free throw line.
Tyson Walker, number 2, is up to shoot free throws for Michigan State. Again, they are in their white uniforms with the green trim. He makes the first 1 of 1 so far to put the Spartans back down single digits.
That's his 10th point of this one, and actually ends over a 2.5-minute scoring drought for Michigan State. So this one so far, there's been definitely some back and forth when it comes to having the hot hand and being as dry as the Sahara.
And Walker up to shoot his second. He dribbles, squares up, and takes the shot. That one bounces off into the right side. Okpara grabs the rebound for the Buckeyes as Bruce Thornton will take the 1 position once again. Passes to the right wing, Likely back up to Sewing, who tries to get, looked like Okpara on a lob, but it hit off the rim, and Likely grabs the rebound, and Thornton holds it. Now it seems like there is a stoppage of play.
Almost a free 3-point attempt on that one. I don't really know what you call that. Looks like the scorers table is resetting the shot clock because the ball did hit off the rim from Sewing. They have to reset and count it as a shot.
Even though it didn't look like...
Get it and just kind of throw it last second. And lucky for him, he has some shot to get 2 more on it.
Great awareness by Bruce Thornton, not only getting his rebound, but like you said, not coming back down with the ball. As he is going up to shoot his first free for the night. And it will now be 1 of 2 as he hits that one off the front of the rim short.
Just not enough on it. You could see when it went off his right hand, he kind of just looked down and shook his head. Knew he didn't have it, but you can make it. Go 50% at the minimum.
Thornton played 27 minutes so far in this game. When you're tired, it is tough, and he is 0 for 2 from the foul line now in that play. Ohio State still up 9, 46-37. Michigan State with the ball. It is Akins at the top of the key, holds it on his right hip as the Spartans set up. Dribbles over to the right wing and then passes to the left wing to Walker. Walker in a scramble there with Ice Likely, and he is going to get a foul drawn on Likely, who was not happy with that call.
Likely just tried to see if he could get a jump ball in this point, and not much could happen as Thornton, as you just said, played 28 minutes, needs a breather, and Gale is going to check in for him.
And Roddy Gale Jr., as you said, back in for the Buckeyes as Michigan State inbounds it to Akins, shoots a left-hander from the left side, and that is good.
The free left block, Jay, from about 15 or so, and not much you could do about it. Just 3 more points for Michigan State within 6.
Michigan State now down 39-46. McNeil has it on the left wing inside to Sewing on the left, just a bit outside of the block. He holds it, goes in, pushes in to Hauser, spins around, shoots it. That one goes off and rolls off the front of the rim. Michigan State with the rebound.
Hauser's defense is looking great so far in this one, realizing he's not able to shoot as many threes as possible, but making up for it on the defensive end.
Hauser hands off to Hall at the top of the key as he pushes Walker down on the left wing. He now goes back up to the top of the key and then to Hauser, over to Walker on the right wing. Walker dribbles in on the left side, passes a snappy pass into Hauser, who tries to dribble in but is called with a travel.
Yeah, and that was a good call by the referee. Looking at the left baseline, it seemed like he'd either stepped out and tried to play it off, but realizing that it actually was a travel. So good, but no, they actually call a bumping foul on Suing, and they will retain it.
The ref seemed to have signaled a travel, but instead they changed up their call on that one as Walker dribbles in on the right side. It is stolen by Roddy Gale Jr., who is going with fire down to the other end. And it looks like there's going to be a foul called on Hall as Roddy Gale Jr. was dribbling to the basket.
Yeah, trying to stop a guy like Hall on the fast break. He's just got rocket boosters for legs. We saw it multiple times yesterday. He had about 2 or 3 fast break points going from left to right, just the entire court. And no one was near him. So having a guy keep up with him is first off impressive, but second off, you can't foul him.
And with that foul, Michigan State is now at 6 fouls, 1 away from the bonus for the Buckeyes, as Likely sends it into the backcourt to Gale. Gale will dribble back over half court with his left hand and then holds it and gives it to Okpara on the right wing. Okpara back up to Gale at the top of the key. Gale now in his right wing dribbles down the left side to the elbow, pushes his back into the defender, shoots it up, and that one is good with a little floater from the left block.
Right-handed floater for Gale, a guy who you don't see get into the paint and body like that, so a good shot realizing he has a mismatch.
MSU now with the ball. It is Aikens at the top of the key. He dribbles to the right side and crosses over, goes inside, looking back out, can't find anyone, knocks it away, grabs it again, dribbles, shoots, no good.
Sean McNeil actually somewhat lucky he didn't get a foul call on that. His hand went into the leg of the shooter. Just lucky that the referees didn't see it, and Sean McNeil gets away with another one.
Buckeyes now have the ball off the rebound. Ice Likely inside of the three-pointer on the right corner. Sends it into Okpara, tries to get another alley-oop shot to Okpara, but not able to complete.
Not able to complete, and you got to give Marty Sissoko credit for getting there, but off the hands of Sissoko. So Ohio State can actually retain, and we've seen them do an inbound lob once in this one. We could see it later in the game if need be, if it's that close.
Likely sends it far into the backcourt once again to Gale, who is taking the one position for the Buckeyes right now. Dribbles with his left hand, crosses over, and shoots it from the top of the key, and a three-point shot for Gale. He now has 8 points for the night.
Gale had an absolutely clutch 3 in yesterday's game, and he's feeling himself chucking up a 3 after doing that, and there will be a timeout called. Michigan State needs another breather. Ohio State's really looking dominant on the offensive side so far.
They are now up 51-39 with 8 minutes left, and Roddy Gale Jr. has just been so confident with his offense in these past 2 games. He had 9 points yesterday and already 8 points today with 8 minutes left.
Sometimes you have to put on the pants in situations where your best man or one of your best men are down. And in this situation with Sensabaugh being out, at least for the foreseeable future, if Ohio State can continue their run deeper into the playoffs, Gale Jr. is going to be one of those guys who has to step up. And he just seems way more confident so far in these ones, still only being a freshman, but if he can feel confident in situations like this, you never know what the next few seasons can be if he stays here at Ohio State.
And so impressive, too. We talked about this a lot with Bruce Thornton as well. When you're the facilitator playing in that one spot, you aren't able to score quite as much, and Roddy Gale was taking the ball up as the facilitator there and was still able to create space against his defender and get a solid look from the top of the key three-pointer.
Yeah, and it's kind of incredible how you could see that Ohio State's guard play is so different. You have a guy like Roddy Gale, 3 and D, so he'll go in. You don't see him go to the paint as much, but try to stretch the floor and get some good rips. You got a guy like Bryce Sensabaugh, who's like the shooting guard-esque, but he can run the point as well, and he's taller, so it works. Bruce Thornton, the shorter guy, facilitates, takes great shots. He can kind of do it all. And then you still have at the bottom to round it out, Ice Likely, a guy who's not going to shoot as much, but facilitates and defends like the best of them. So you have 4 different types of guard play that you can bring into the game depending on the situation, or mix and match depending on how they're playing. And every single situation they've had multiple in has worked out for them so far.
And not talking about the guards, but the big man, Felix Okpara, has 6 points and 8 rebounds so far today. And this was a crucial game for him to go out, rebound strong for the Buckeyes without Bryce Sensabaugh's presence in that area. But not only has he been rebounding, he's been scoring as well with 6 points too.
Yeah, Okpara is one of those guys, when you see him play, you're not expecting that many rebounds. Normally from the score box, you're expecting him to be a big body and hope the guys around him get it. His most rebounds, though, was March 1st. We had 12 when he started getting more minutes after Zed Key got his left shoulder surgery. So this is the second most he has had as a Buckeye so far in this one, maybe looking to get up close to that area. So far, he's looking real confident, still putting up more points than he normally does as well. So you can only hope that Okpara starts to feel it more, especially if Ohio State wants to continue their dream run later into this one.
And on the other end of the court for the Michigan State Spartans, Hauser with 11 points and Tyson Walker with 10. So double-digit performances for them so far today. As we are back on the court, it will be Spartans ball as they inbound underneath the Buckeyes basket, and it is Hogard with the ball on the left wing, dribbles into the right side, shoots it up, a floater, banks off. 2 more points for Michigan State.
That was a good shot there, and Michigan State actually just checked out Malik Hall to get another guy in. Malik Hall only has 1 point in this game so far.
Ice Likely dribbling underneath the basket, passes to Sewing on the left corner, and another three-pointer for Justice Sewing.
Sewing is feeling it so far, looking Sean McNeil-esque, going to the corner and feeling hot.
Michigan State now once again with the ball. It is Akins and now Hogard on the left wing, dribbles once again into that right side. Tries to shoot it, but there is going to be a foul on the floor for the Buckeyes.
Holtmann kind of pleading his case. You can hear him screaming from up here. Roddy Gale Jr. gets another foul against him, his 4th personal, so he really needs to be careful here with 7 minutes left, especially with him feeling as well as he's done in 19 minutes.
Michigan State inbounds underneath their basket into Sissoko, and then back over to Hogard, who is going to shoot it right in front of the three-point line on the left side. It bounces off the back. Sean McNeil with the rebound. Ice Likely now with the ball. Dribbles up and across half court and over to the right wing. In his right hand, backing up Walker, and he dribbles around, spins to the left hand, passes it out, and a bit of a scuffle there as Ice Likely tried to pass it out, and Sissoko jumped up, tried to defend, and knocked Likely down for a foul.
Likely tried to go in for a contested layup, and Marty Sissoko came in from the top rope and kind of landed on him all funny. But Likely not taking he's not thinking really much into it, realizing it's just hard play. But if he can get some free points here, he'll definitely take them. And now Ohio State is in the bonus with about 7 minutes to go, so they're happy to see that.
And Likely 2 for 2 from the free throw line. His only 2 points of the game coming from the line. As he is about to shoot. Takes a deep breath, dribbles once, twice, and it is up, bounces off the back, no good on the 1-for-1.
Bit too much on it, and you could see going off his hands, and it looked like he was trying to shoot a midi on that and not a free throw.
Spartans now Hogard on the top of the key, into Hauser on the right block, spins around, shoots it, but beforehand there is another foul on the Buckeyes, and they are not happy with that call.
And it's another foul on Justice Sewing, and that's his 3rd, so they really need to watch out. Sewing and Gale Jr. are 2 guys that have played so phenomenally in the past 2 games that they need them to play as much as possible, especially if Michigan State gets back in this.
Michigan State inbounding, and there's going to be another foul on Justice Sewing on the inbound as Hauser tried to get the ball, and Sewing contested.
And Sewing is now probably going to have to take some time away and sit the bench, because 1 more and he's gone. And a guy who's 4 of 7 from 3, you can't afford to lose that with only being up 13.
And as a veteran, you have to be smarter than that. You got your 3rd foul down low, and you can't go out and contest that inbound when it's he wasn't even close to the basket. He was far out. Let him grab it and don't risk the foul.
That is true, but you also have to now look. Michigan State now in the bonus as well. Both teams have 7 team fouls here, but it seems like the crowd has switched chants. There was a lot of Michigan State fans, and now you hear some OH chants here from the Ohio State faithfuls.
Sewing subbed out for Roddy Gale Jr. Buckeyes up 54-41. Hauser shoots He makes the first one, and so he will get the opportunity for a second.
Hauser's 12th point of this one, so he's getting closer to his average of 14.2, and same with his rebound average. He averages 7 and sitting at 6 right now, so he's putting up a very normal game for him, but I would expect to see him chuck up a lot more three-pointers getting late.
Ball is up and good as Hauser makes the second. Ohio State now up 11, 54-43, 6.5 minutes to go. Ice Likely taking the ball up the court for the Buckeyes. He is on the right wing. Dribbles crossover, passes to Thornton at the top of the key. Thornton now at the right wing. He pushes the back into Walker, dribbles over, passes to McNeil at the top of the key. McNeil flanks that one off the front of the rim, no good on the three-pointer as Michigan State grabs the rebound. Walker now on the left wing up to Hogard and over to Hauser on the right wing, back up to Hogard as he dribbles in. Hogard with 3 points for Michigan State on the three-pointer on the left wing.
Hogard's one of those guys you can't give open shots to, and Ohio State also can't afford to give a foul. Gale Jr. actually subbed in for Sewing, so 4 for 4 on the fouls there, so he couldn't get in too close on the defensive play.
Michigan State fans getting loud as the Buckeyes have the ball. Thornton on the left wing, dribbles in, big power step into Okpara on the left block for a huge dunk. He was left wide open for that opportunity.
Felix hammered that one down. No one was going to stop him there. It looked like Sissoko really got his ankles broken by Thornton on a fake to his left, and that's a free point for Ohio State. Keep the lead at 10.
And what a presence for Bruce Thornton to take the ball in, draw the defenders. He saw Okpara was open and gave him the opportunity. Okpara now itching at double digits with points.
The court vision on that one was superb.
MSU with the ball at the top of the key. It is Sissoko, then hands off to Walker, dribbles to the right wing, dribbles back up to the top of the key, passes to Hogard on the left wing, and there's going to be an off-ball foul on the Buckeyes once again.
Called on Ice Likely for that one, only his second, but still pleading his case with the referee, saying, I'm just playing defense here, don't worry about that. But he is one of those guys that, like we had said, not putting up as many points as you think, but he's just such a pest when it comes to on-ball defense. So you can't have him getting close and deep in that foul situation.
And like you talked about earlier, only Ice Likely's second foul, but Ohio State is in the bonus for fouls, so they cannot give up any of these free throw shots. As the first shot is good for Hauser, and he is now 6 for 6, 7 for 7, excuse me, from the free throw line.
And Michigan State, they're getting really lucky here. They were actually leading in how many fouls they had on Ohio State, had given them 7, and Ohio State was in the bonus first. And now if Ohio State fouls a Michigan State player one more time, they're in the double bonus. And with how close this game is, you can't afford to give up 2 free shots when it's getting late.
Hauser perfect 8 for 8 from the stripe as they are now down 8 points, 56-48, 5 minutes remaining. Ohio State with the ball. Roddy Gale Jr. at the top of the key, dribbles down to the left block, creates space, shoots it, bounces it off the front of the rim. And Sissoko with a huge rebound for the Spartans as they take it fast down the court. On the right wing is Hogard. Hogard dribbles into the left block, shoots it with the right hand, rolls that one in. Another 2 points for the Spartans.
Roddy Gale wanted a push-off foul against Hogard in that, but couldn't get lucky on it. And that's another point for Michigan State, and Thornton is forced to call a timeout again.
And the energy is changing here once again in the stadium. The Buckeyes had a big run there, up by double digits, now only up by 6 points, 56-50, 4:45 left.
Yeah, and I think we're actually going to step away here as Ohio State also going to take some time, recuperate, and we're going to do something similar up here in the box. 56-50, Ohio State leads with 4:45 left to go here at the United Center.
Barrio Tacos is now open right in the heart of the Ohio State campus at 15th and High. Serving tacos and margaritas late night each night, Barrio has an incredible happy hour with half-off margs and $1-off tacos weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Don't forget, Barrio accepts Buck ID and is offering to-go and DoorDash. You can also catch Barrio Tacos inside the shoe during game days at Section 10A and at their taco truck Mondays to Fridays, parked right outside the RPAC.
Tune into the Block O Show presented by Barrio Tacos for an inside look at the 2022-23 Ohio State football season. Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio team of football broadcasters previews each week of the Buckeyes football season, featuring opposing reporters from student journalists across the country. Listen to the Block O Show, presented by Barrio Tacos, every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Another close game here in the United Center in Chicago. Ohio State ball on the inbounds. Justice Suing back in. Sean McNeil is passed from Bruce Thornton on the right wing. Dribbles in to the foul line. Looking outside. Finds Suing on the right wing. Suing dribbles in. Passes out to Roddy Gale on the left wing. Fakes it. Passes it up. Tries to get a shot. No good. Gets the rebound. And he is fouled by Hauser.
He's fouled on the way down. Hauser looked like he was just trying to play defense on that, and his hand just kind of got struck by Gale on the way down. Not much you can really do about it, but Gale definitely needs to be thankful that he's getting some shots here.
Roddy Gale Jr., his first opportunities at the free throw line today, as Ohio State is in the bonus. He goes up to shoot, and that one is good. So he is 1 for 1 to start out his free throws for the night.
Good for him to do with booze raining down here. It seems like everyone's against him there, and it honestly just quieted the entire arena just making one.
Roddy Gale itching at double digits if he makes this shot, and he will get his 10th point of the night with the second basket good. Ohio State now up by 8:58-50. Hogard has the ball on the right wing, dribbles up to the top of the key with the left hand, gets a screen from Hall, and there is going to be a moving screen on Hall on that play.
Ohio State is really going to be happy on that, getting the ball back and trying to keep this momentum going. They've been having some decent leads here, but Michigan State keeps climbing back. But I got to say, these timeouts so far for Ohio State have actually been somewhat crucial, but they only have one remaining with 4 to go.
And a second moving screen call for Michigan State. Going to have to clean up in that area. Bruce Thornton has the ball, hands off to Suing. Then to Sean McNeil on the left wing, back up to Suing. Suing now dribbling down the left wing with his right hand. Shoots it up. That one is knocked away. Oh, and Hauser gets the rebound, but then loses it out of bounds. Like he is frustrated. As we go into another timeout with 3:57 left in the last half of this game.
Yeah, Hauser just kind of threw that one away. Not really too much on it. It was just a bit of a momentum shift. He had just grabbed it and kind of thrown it behind his head. And, I mean, unlucky for him, there's nobody in the out-of-bounds area playing for Michigan State, so it is just somewhat of a wasted attempt there. But their defenses looked very solid coming into these final 4 minutes, realizing that they do have to step it up because they do not want to lose to a 13 seed and be looked at as an upset going into the big dance, because that could affect their seeding getting into it in next week's March.
And Michigan State, like you said, playing strong defense. They've held Ohio State to 58, who we know is a very strong offensive team, but Michigan State is struggling offensively, not only with the scoring at only 50 points, but again with those moving screen calls, which are so crucial at this time. They've had 2 now, one against Hauser, one against Hall at the top of the key as they're trying to set the screen, and that completely can change the swing as it gives the ball back to the Buckeyes for the opportunity for more points.
In Michigan State's defense, they've played so well. In the first game against Wisconsin, Ohio State had 65 points. Against Iowa yesterday, they had 73. And Ohio State is a team that averages 73.1, and their opponents average 69.4. So to see Michigan State have them only at 58 points with 4 to go, it's going to be very difficult to reach their normal limit of 73.5, or 73.1, excuse me. So Michigan State, they should be proud of their defense, but Ohio State still, they're going to keep scoring, and they need to keep scoring, keep padding that lead, because as it gets down to crunch time, you know these fouls are going to start flying.
They are, and both teams with 3 players in the double digits. Roddy Gale Jr., 10 points. Bruce Thornton, 16 points. And Justice Suing, 14 points for the Buckeyes. On the other side, Tyson Walker with 10 points. And Joey Hauser with 15 points. And A.J. Hogard with 10. On top of that for Hauser, 6 rebounds. So he's had a strong game. Just a little bit frustrated on that last play as he lost the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, definitely, but nothing to really worry about. Only down 8. It's a team that can definitely do it. But I think as Ohio State's getting into the end of this one, once it starts getting into we have to foul territory, how are they going to play it with Gale Jr. and Suing both being at 4? My best guess here on this one is that you're going to want Suing on defense and take Gale out and put Ice Likely back in to play defense. but you never know how they're really going to play it. But you can't have either of those guys getting a foul. So if both of them play in the final minutes, you have 3 guys who can foul, and you know Michigan State is going to take advantage of that and give it to the guys that can just waste more time on the clock without a foul.
And Ohio State right now not at the point where they are going to have to foul unless this game gets closer. Roddy Gale Jr., like you said, might switch an offense-defense kind of action with ice likely. And Ohio State back to inbound underneath their basket in their scarlet uniforms. Passes in to Justice Suing on the left wing. He dribbles in strong, shoots it up. That one bounces off the back of the rim. And Michigan State will grab the rebound. Hogard takes it strong down the right side. Passes back out to Hall, who's wide open for a three-pointer. And that one, not close.
Yeah, he didn't hit. He hit the net, the bottom of the net. Just it didn't go through the hoop. So that's really not what you're looking for. Hall is really not having a good game. A guy who averages 9.5, only with 1 point and going 0 for 6 from the field.
Suing taking the ball up the court as he crosses the half and passes back to Thornton at the top of the key, who holds it in his left hand, then dribbles over to the right wing. Holding the ball is Thornton, dribbles over to the left wing now, crossover in between the legs, running down the clock, passes to Roddy Gale Jr. on the left wing, steps, fakes it, and another three-pointer for Roddy Gale Jr., who has been on fire for the Buckeyes. Michigan State now passes it in quick in transition as they will shoot from the elbow, and that is Akins for another 2 points. Michigan State. Ohio State up now 61-52. Just under 3 minutes left. Suing dribbling the ball back up the court once again, taking it for the Buckeyes. He has it in the left hand as he dribbles up the right side of the court. Looking for Thornton, he is no good, but Suing has picked up his dribble, finds McNeil instead on the right wing. McNeil now dribbles up to the half court, high up for the Buckeyes. The court is spread. Dribbles to his right wing. McNeil with the shot. It is no good as it bounces off the front of the rim. Michigan State with the rebound. It is now Walker at the top of the key, takes a three-pointer of his own. That one too strong, and Roddy Gale Jr. grabs the rebound for the Buckeyes.
They've been playing well, and Gale Jr. has stepped up big time in this, especially with McNeil being 2 for 8 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3, only with 5 points in 38 minutes. That's not what you want to see in this. You're going to need him to maybe get one more clutch shot in this to try to add some more pad.
Gale takes it in on the left side and shoots an off-tempo, off-balance shot from the block, and that is good. Gale Jr. with 15 points now. Michigan State running the ball back fast as it is passed into Hall in the middle. Tries to go up for a strong dunk, and he is fouled.
Yeah, Akpara just got a little bit too much of the elbow of Hall, and luckily for Hall, he's got a second to kind of reset. He is at this point 1 of 2 from the free throw line, but that's his only point. So for him, he needs to just get something here and hope to get it feeling better in the next 2 minutes. And if not, they're down 11, and after these minute 53, it's over.
Absolutely, and Hall adjusting his uniform, getting set up at the free throw line as he dribbles and shoots and makes the first one.
That's a good look for him. It was nothing but net. And you'd hope for a guy like Hall, who's the 6th man on this team, to come off the bench and give you some solid numbers. So you've seen other guys have to kind of step up in different ways. So luckily they've been able to hold it true, but Hall's still not doing well.
Hall 2 for 2 from the free throw line and puts Michigan State back down single digits as they are down 63-54 with a minute 53 left. Ohio State to inbound from underneath the Spartans basket. Roddy Gale Jr. passes to Thornton. Thornton dribbling with the right hand. He is double teamed with a strong press by Michigan State and is able to get it across half court from the left side. Continues to dribble down to the elbow, and a foul is called.
It'll be an off-ball foul against Michigan State. So luckily Thornton gets it as Hogard gets another foul against him, and that will be his second of this one, or third of this one, excuse me. I just updated it. So he's going to have to watch out getting deep into this one foul-wise.
And Hogard, who's been so strong for Michigan State, not only scoring in the double digits, but also a huge facilitator. As Bruce Thornton makes his first of the 2 free throws, and he is 2 for 4 now, 50% from the line.
Thornton has just been playing out of his mind at this rate, and He looks way older than he is on the court itself. He plays like a vet who's been here for years, only still being a freshman. He's going to have some great longevity here in the Big Ten.
2 points from Thornton from the stripe, putting Ohio State back up double digits. Hogarth takes it in on the left side, spins it around to the right, and it is knocked away. Thornton dribbling fast down, shoots it up, and he is fouled on the left block as he goes up for the layup.
That was a good call by the referees. Almost looked like it could have had a potential to be a goaltend there as Akins hit it at the end, but no, they're actually calling it a clean block and out on Ohio State.
Looks like it must have gone out on McNeil there as Michigan State takes it quickly up the court. Hogarth once again with the ball, passes to the right wing, back up to Hogarth at the top of the key, and then Akins on the right wing again. Goes up from the right side, shoots it up high, too high, bounces off the top of the rim. Rebound, sends it to Akins on the left corner, tries to take a three-point shot. That one is no good. A scram as Hogarth grabs the next rebound. Another three-pointer, no good from Michigan State from the left wing. Ohio State finally grabbing a rebound, as it is Thornton once again with the ball as he holds it. A minute left now, and under a minute, 59 seconds left in this game. Ohio State up 13, 67-54. Thornton will continue to hold the ball as Hogarth is defending, and he dribbles down the left side, and he is fouled by Hogarth and still on the floor, slow to get up. He has had such a dynamic game. 34 minutes played for Thornton.
Ohio State is 50 seconds away from the semifinal game against number 1 in the Big Ten and number 5 in the country, Purdue. And this is something nobody could have seen. Ohio State's defense has stepped up to the best of them so far and showing the Big Ten that they cannot be counted out, seated down at number 13.
And Bruce Thornton, wow, with 20 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. What a stat line for him today. He has been amazing for Ohio State, and make it 21 as he makes his first shot.
Ohio State actually bringing in most of the freshmen on this one to get some minutes in a tournament situation, kind of get them all involved, and that will show that Michigan State is calling off the dogs, and Ohio State will have won their 3rd straight in the Big Ten tournament to make it to the semifinal round.
Would you have ever expected before this game that the second string would be coming in for both of these teams, as Ohio State up 14 points?
I am not really thinking about how that was even an option just 3 minutes ago. And Ohio State's defense has just absolutely stepped up, and it's really showing here.
Michigan State, Akins has the ball, shoots it from the elbow. That one bounces off, but it is rebounded by Michigan State. And Carson Cooper, number 15, who just came in for the Spartans, makes 2 points.
33 seconds left with 23 on the shot clock. You know Ohio State is just going to dribble it out here and get ready to celebrate and get ready for an absolute juggernaut battle tomorrow against Purdue.
Tanner Holden, the veteran for Ohio State, once at Wright State University in Ohio, holds the ball. He had 3 huge points for the Buckeyes early on. 13, 12, 11, 10 seconds left in this ball game as Tanner Holden chucks it up as the shot clock goes down. Ohio State still up 68-56, 8 seconds left.
With 8 seconds remaining, this is going to be it. Michigan State's going to inbound and just kind of hold the ball, and you can look at their bench at this moment. Tom Izzo's head is down. Who would have expected this from the number 13 Ohio State Buckeyes after going 0-2 in the regular season, and none of their losses, were anywhere remotely close, and this win isn't remotely close.
Holloman shoots, gets 2 more points for the Spartans to stop the clock at 4 seconds. Now 10 points. Ohio State, number 15, grabs the ball, gives it back to Holden, and we are done. Ohio State wins their 3rd game of the tournament against Michigan State University, the 4 seed against the 13 seed, and another upset for the Buckeyes, 68-58, your final.
There is going to be semifinal basketball for the team down south. Ohio State going up now here to Chicago. Maybe they should play their home games here more often. They're playing like an absolute god team tier right now. And you got to keep the tracks rolling, winning by 10 against a team that had been so dominant against you. Who would have thought we would be having Saturday basketball for Ohio State after starting here in the first game on Wednesday night?
And the Buckeyes, like you said, have just come alive in the United Center here in Chicago. And what a performance by both teams. Michigan State, we talked about it in the pregame, went 2-0 against Ohio State in the regular season, but here in the tournament, the Buckeyes win by double digits.
Ohio State trying to still punch their ticket. If they can win 2 more games, as unlikely as it has be seen, if they can win 2 more games and become the champs, they have a very minimal shot at the big dance, but they got to take it 1 game at a time. And against Purdue tomorrow is going to be their toughest challenge in months.
It will be, and we know Purdue, again, just like Michigan State, 2-0 against Ohio State in the regular season, but as of now, that doesn't seem to be an issue for the Buckeyes as they are hot, especially for Ohio State. Roddy Gale Jr., 15 points. Bruce Thornton, who has been amazing in this final stretch of the regular season and into the tournament for the Buckeyes, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. And Justice Sewing, 14 points, 4 rebounds. Felix Akpara, 8 points, 8 rebounds. So, huge stat sheet for the Buckeyes.
Oh, 100%. This is the Bruce drop-him-off game. He's looking really, really nice. He's going to keep this thing flowing. And Gale looking like a different animal and the same beast at the same time. He's playing with some different fire that we haven't seen. Maybe Holtmann said something that lit it under him, or talking to some teammates going, "You got this, no reason to be nervous." And we got to see how they play tomorrow at this point, because it's going to be a different game, but Ohio State's going to have to still bring the same intensity. And Sarah, what do you expect to see tomorrow that may either be somewhere similar or different for Ohio State?
Well, the thing that's similar is their offense, and the biggest thing for them tomorrow is going to be the defense, which they've played so well in this tournament so far, but they're going up against Zach Edey, Big Ten Player of the Year. He is a big man. He had over 20 points today against Rutgers, so it's going to be huge for them. But to address the elephant in the room, too, something insane is the fact that Ohio State, coming into this game, lost Bryce Sensabaugh. They lost their leading scorer, and so even without him, they still got the win. And then on the other end of the ball, Michigan State, what did you see from them today?
They had not played like the same team that when I had broadcasted against them a few months ago, they put in their bench warmers, so to speak, with 2 minutes left. So they were feeling real confident in this one. And Ohio State kind of said, right back at you, but we're going to do it on a bigger stage so it looks even worse for you guys. But this just comes to show that seeding doesn't mean anything, and March is a different animal. Ohio State is going to continue to march it on into the semifinals tomorrow against Purdue, and it's going to be an absolute smoke show.
Like you said, Ohio State looking like a different animal. And thank you again for joining us. I am Sara Sharp alongside Austin Crume and Caleb Spinner on SGSR and SGSR TV. Your final once again tonight, 68-58. The Ohio State Buckeyes defeat the Michigan State Spartans. Again, thank you for listening from the United Center.
See you tomorrow.
Barrio Tacos is now open right in the heart of the Ohio State campus at 15th and High. Serving tacos and margaritas late night each night, Barrio has an incredible happy hour with half-off margs and $1 off tacos weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Don't forget, Barrio accepts Buck ID and is offering to-go and DoorDash. You can also catch Barrio Tacos inside the shoe during game days at Section 10A and at their taco truck Mondays to Fridays, parked right outside the RPAC.
Tune into the Block O Show, presented by Barrio Tacos, for an inside look at the 2022-23 Ohio State football season. Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio team of football broadcasters previews each week of the Buckeyes football season, featuring opposing reporters from student journalists across the country. Listen to the Block O Show, presented by Barrio Tacos, every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hi, this is Caleb Spinner.
And this is Tyler Danberg.
Together, we co-host the Ohio State of Mind, Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's podcast covering all things Ohio State athletics. Join us Mondays and Fridays as we recap and preview every Ohio State sporting event from the past week.
We also talk to current and former Buckeye athletes in our interview series Behind the Buckeye. Follow the Ohio State of Mind on Twitter at State of Mind OSU for more information on the show.
We hope to see you there, but for now, that's the ad. We're out of here.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Zachary Rodier here, the podcast coordinator for Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Here to tell you that if you want to listen to post-game coverage of your favorite Ohio State athletics, make sure you subscribe and listen to SGSR Recap, where post-game coverage of all the big games, including football, big hockey, basketball, and everything around, will be on SGSR Recap in case you miss post-game live on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. So make sure you listen to SGSR Recap on your favorite listening platform on the Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio Podcast Network.
Hey Buckeye fans, this is Patrick Engels, President of the Sports and Society Initiative